Pirates God Level Sign in System Chapter 41-60. Chapter 41_Giant Brogy. Hey, I see an estuary ahead. Zoro said. Really? Everyone came out and saw that there really was an estuary, so they simply drove Mary into it. The more you drive at the mouth of the river, the more you can feel the horror of this island. Strange plants, huge birds, and sounds like volcanic eruptions. In the depths of the jungle, a huge tiger walked out at this time, but it didn't take long for the tiger to bleed to death. The island is blanketed in an outer sand of fear and mystery. Why don't we stay on the boat and wait until the magnetic record is recorded? Usopp was very scared and suggested again. That's right. At this time, even Nami agreed. However, things are not so simple. Luffy looked at the dense jungle and was ready to try. Immediately afterwards, Luffy asked Sanji for a bento, and even Vivi rode fast, left Mary with Sanji's special drink, and went on an adventure. Zoro also decided to get off the boat and go for a walk, and then had an argument with Sanji, and finally the two decided to bet on who could hunt the bigger prey together. On the whole ship, only Shu Kang, Nami and Usopp were left in the end. You must not leave, Shu Kang. We all depend on you here. Usopp and Nami looked at Shu Kang eagerly. Shu Kang then said, Okay, I won't leave if I don't go. But then again, prehistoric island. I seem to have seen it in a book. Usopp. Nami then called Usopp into the cabin and looked for the book about prehistoric island together. Books. After Nami finally found the book, she found Shu Kang and was about to share with everyone about the prehistoric island, but she was stunned. A figure like a hill in front of him has appeared in front of everyone. At this time, Nami and Usopp were stunned. It was the first time Shu Kang saw such a huge human being, and he was too surprised to say anything. The giant in front of him pointed at Nami and Usopp with his oversized nostrils and asked, So, what do you think? How about what? Say it again, Nami said in horror. I'm asking if you have any wine. The giant in front of him asked. A little bit, it's still there, Nami replied. So you have wine. The giant immediately became happy. But it's not for drinking, it's for cooking and medical use, Nami responded. I'll give it all to you if you want, Nami said. At this moment, the giant screamed in pain. It turned out that a Tyrannosaurus Rex firmly bit his buttocks. Fear of dinosaurs. Nami and Usopp are both terrified. However, the giant just turned around, the huge knife in his hand quickly chopped off, and when the knife fell, he chopped off the head of the ferocious dinosaur. I am the most powerful warrior in Elbaf village. Brogy. Ha ha ha. The giant Brogy raised the knife in his hand happily, but inadvertently completely frightened Nami and Usopp. I've got the meat, and I'll serve you today. Guests, said Brogy, the hospitable giant. However, Nami and Usopp lay directly on the deck and began to play dead. Shu Kang thought it was too stupid, so he chatted with the giant directly. So, you are the giant's village, Elbaf's warrior, Brogy, we are a group of pirates. Pirates are good. We used to be pirates too, Brogy said. What? Pirates of the giant clan. Wait, what Shu Kang just said about us? Could it be that there is more than one giant like this on this island? Both Nami and Usopp wanted to die. Nami and Usopp originally planned to play dead, but seeing Shu Kang so open-minded and indifferent, they finally stood up. I said Shu Kang, we can't just wait here and be eaten. Nami said. This guy won't eat you, don't worry. Shu Kang repeatedly assured that Nami and Usopp chose to believe Shu Kang's words. Brogy in front of him grilled the dinosaur directly, and shared his food to Shu Kang and others while singing. Nami and Usopp naturally have no appetite at this time, but Shu Kang rarely eats such delicious dinosaur meat, and suddenly thought of his own pocket that can take everything. I say you're too shabby for that little bartender on our ship. Then let me take it out. Shu Kang immediately took out an oversized wooden barrel from his magical pocket that looked like it couldn't fit in at all. This wooden barrel was filled with delicious wine. Ha ha. What an amazing guy, I can smell your wine from this distance. Brogy was very satisfied. He directly opened the lid of the wooden barrel and started drinking. A skewer with beer can live 99. Brogy drank beer and ate dinosaur meat, not to mention happier. As for Shu Kang, he quickly became acquainted with Brogy, and Shu Kang repeatedly told Nami and Usopp about the cuteness of giants. This guy is Alabasta, a warrior of the giant kingdom. The glory of a warrior is above all else. It is absolutely impossible to eat people. He will only fight against people who look strong. That's right, I look strong, Usopp said. Then we can rest assured. Nami finally believed what Shu Kang said, and everyone let down their guard. In the end, the three gradually merged into the party with the giant. I said, how long does the island's magnetism store? Nami asked. 1 year, the giant said truthfully. What, to stay in a place like this for a year? We're going to go crazy. Nami and Usopp couldn't help but complain. After a while, an earthquake suddenly occurred around. However, there were bursts of smoke and rumblings from the mountains not far away. It was a volcanic eruption. At this moment, Brogy's expression suddenly became very serious, and he said, sorry, I have to leave for a while. Leave? Yeah, it's a sign of 100-year duel, Brogy said. 100 years. With whom? Where? What's the reason? Usopp and Nami pressed. The reason? I forgot. Ha ha ha. Brogy laughed heartily, then grabbed his weapon and walked in the other direction step by step. What's the situation? Nami and Usopp looked at Shu Kang and asked. Seeing this, Shu Kang said, this is their battle for the glory of Alabasta warriors. They have to see who is stronger, so they use the volcano as a signal to go out to a duel. Since there is no reason, why are they fighting? Is glory really more important to them than everything else? Nami's rhetorical question pointed to the core of the question. Chapter 42 Battle against the Twin Giants. Shu Kang nodded and said, yes, that's what happened. They even forgot why they were fighting, but they kept fighting. Can't they stop? When will this end? Usopp asked. Shu Kang could only helplessly shook his head and said, if I have to make them stop fighting, I have a good way. What way? Nami and Usopp asked Shu Kang very curiously. Shu Kang just showed a serious look. Don't you want to beat them both? Usopp and Nami were almost confused again. Immediately afterwards, a mortal duel was launched between the two giants. One was Blue Ogre Dory and the other was Red Ogre Brogy. One holds a huge sword and shield, and the other holds a one-handed axe and shield. The two faced off against each other, and there was a huge shock, which could be described as monstrous. Dong dong dong. Bang bang bang. The two were very serious and engaged in a sacred duel, and it seemed that there was no result at all for a while. What a fierce battle. All the attacks on both sides were fatally aimed at the vital point. Usopp said. Could it be that they have been fighting this kind of battle for 100 years? Nami also asked in disbelief. I'm afraid it is. Shu Kang nodded. There is no reason to fight so fiercely. It's really amazing. Is this a duel between really powerful men? Usopp was shocked. This is a glorious duel between warriors. Usopp had always admired true heroes of the sea, so he was naturally very excited. I just want to be a glorious sea warrior like them. Usopp looked at the two giants in front of him with excitement and admiration. Usopp has regarded the two of them as idols, let him watch it for a while. Shu Kang said with a smile. Okay. Nami then sat down. We're both a little homesick, Dory, Brogy asked, panting. Yeah, so I'm going to kill you and go back to Alabasta, Brogy. Dory asked, also weary. Ah. Ha. Both of their weapons were smashed to the ground, and then, the two used their shields to smash each other's face heavily. Battle. Flat. After the two sides finished speaking, they fell to the same place almost at the same time for 100 years, and the ground they fought had already produced huge cracks. Immediately afterwards, the open-minded two began to laugh. Dory. Actually, a client brought me some wine. Brogy said cheerfully. Really? That's great. Why don't you give me some? Dory said cheerfully. Although the battle between the giants had come to an end, Shu Kang had already sensed the existence of some unusual people. Well, if you guessed correctly, the bastards from Baroque Works should have prepared their own plans, right? Shu Kang said with narrowed eyes. But before that, still, have a good drink at the bar. Shu Kang once again took out the huge wine barrel, which shocked Usopp and Nami again. I said, what exactly is in your pocket? Can you take anything out? Nami said in disbelief. Hey, secret, Shu Kang said mysteriously. Haha, that's great. I said, why don't you stay here in the future? The giant Brogy said with a smile. How is that possible? We still need. At this moment, there was an explosion not far away. Boom. Immediately afterwards, thick smoke began to billow. The people from Baroque Works have started. Shu Kang said immediately. Shu Kang immediately guessed that on Dory's side, the wine he was drinking was replaced by explosives from Bakuro's gang, which caused the explosion. Shu Kang guessed that Luffy should temporarily knock down Dory, who had lost his strength and was seriously injured, because doing so was the only way to stop him from moving. Since the blue ogre Dory was attacked, the targets of the enemies of Baroque Works should also be gathered there. Shu Kang said with great certainty. You guys stay here honestly, I have to leave for a while. Shu Kang didn't have time to explain to Nami Usopp, so he rushed towards the place where the explosion had just happened at a very fast speed. Seeing that there was still a thick plume of smoke in the air, Shu Kang rushed over immediately. However, at this moment, the volcano suddenly shook with a boom. And then, the huge volcano erupted directly. Then, the earth began to vibrate again. It turned out that the two giants received the signal again and were ready to duel in the presence of the volcano to see who was Alabast's strongest warrior. This is the strategy of Baroque Works, so it is, do you want Red Ogre to kill Blue Ogre? It's a good calculus for the fisherman to profit by then, but, with me, everything will not be so smooth. Shu Kang is ready. In order to prevent the giants from fighting each other, Shu Kang himself had to be stronger than the giants. The giants finally met. Brogy swung the weapon in his hand and easily suppressed Dory in front of him. Brogy could feel that Dory in front of him seemed a lot weaker than usual. Seeing this, Shu Kang didn't want to delay anymore, and used his devil fruit power. This time, the devil fruit made Shu Kang's entire body very huge. Shu Kang's whole body was covered by the shadow of the demon behind him, and his whole body was filled with a dark and evil power. No matter who saw Shu Kang, he would feel very depressed. Is this also one of my abilities? Shu Kang looked at his hand in disbelief and asked. This is one of the abilities of the Super Devil Fruit. You can use it as Zone's ability to increase your full ability. Now you can fight the giant head-on. The system answered Shu Kang's question in a timely manner. Shu Kang naturally increased his confidence. Everyone knows that the power of giants is very terrifying, and the combat effectiveness is very amazing. Even Shu Kang, wanting to fight the enemy is not an easy thing. But now, after Shu Kang felt the power surging in his body, his whole person took on a new look. Brogy, Dory, I'm sorry, this duel is about to be suspended. As soon as Shu Kang appeared, he attracted the attention of two giants. The two giants looked at Shu Kang and then refused. Even if it is you, there is no way to stop us from having a duel. It's the glory of Elbaf. What a stubborn giant. Boom. The two Jiren waved the weapons in their hands again, trying to attack each other. At this moment, Shu Kang moved. Shu Kang grabbed Dory's shield with his left hand and Brogy's shield with his right hand, and then he waved vigorously. Chapter 43 Mr. Point 3 and Miss. Going weak, seeking. _ The huge devil's hand threw the two giants away very easily. The two giants tried their best to control their bodies and stop them, but before they could make further moves, Shu Kang's attack came again. Shu Kang made his demonic hand gigantic, a giant in each hand, and grabbed both giants into his hands. No matter how hard the two giants struggled, they couldn't break free from Shu Kang's shackles. Human, what do you want to do? Is it to stop the battle between my specialties? It's our honor as Elbaf warriors, do you just want to stop me and us? The two giants said one after another. This duel has already been manipulated, even if it's unfair, do you still want to start a duel? Shu Kang asked. Unexpectedly, the two giants answered in the affirmative with a tacit understanding. You guys are really hopeless, but even if you want to duel again, it's impossible. Otherwise, you will defeat me. Shu Kang was also very firm. He absolutely couldn't let the two giants kill each other. That's the case. For the sake of our glorious duel, we have no choice but to be polite. The two giants looked at each other, and then launched an attack on Shu Kang. Shu Kang's hands were originally holding the giant firmly, but the giant used all his strength to break free from Shu Kang. What a lot of strength. As expected of a giant. Shu Kang was taken aback, even he did not expect that the strength of the giants would be so great. Shu Kang still held the two giants with all his strength, but it was obvious that the giants at this time had gradually gained the upper hand in the competition of strength. These guys. Really. Awesome. I still underestimate them. After Shu Kang's voice fell, his hand was finally opened. After the two giants broke free from his shackles, they first attacked him. After all, if Shu Kang was there, the duel between them would still be disturbed. However, Dory has been seriously injured, and the whole person is obviously a little out of shape. Shu Kang seized this good opportunity, clenched the demon's claw into a fist, and then slammed it heavily towards Dory. Although Dory raised his shield, Shu Kang's strength was not small, and his super devil fruit power was comparable to that of a giant. Hearing the sound of bang, the giant Dory was knocked down by a punch and fell to the ground. Brogy also recklessly launched an attack on Shu Kang. Shu Kang blocked Brogy with difficulty and fought a giant head-on. Without using swordsmanship, Shu Kang seemed to have a hard time. At this moment, a shocking scene happened. Brogy and Shu Kang suddenly saw a large amount of white matter appearing around them. These things seemed to be in liquid form at first, but when the two bodies were submerged like the sea, they became solid. Yes, Shu Kang and the giant Brogy were both fixed by this thing. Ha ha ha, it's really hard work. I didn't expect you people to be stupid enough to kill each other. No matter how good you are, you have already been caught by me. The speaker looks very yin and yang, and importantly, there is a 3 written in hair on his head. Beside him, there was a little girl wearing a hat and eating cookies. Shu Kang immediately knew the identity of the person who came. It's you, Mr. 3 and Miss Going Joe. Shu Kang said. Oh, do you know us? But we probably haven't seen each other before. Mr. 3 said strangely. Candle's ability to melt fruit. Very interesting ability. I hope you can bring me a different surprise. Shu Kang said. Surprise. Loch Ness is too eager to see myself. Ha ha. You want to be my enemy. Is this true? Since you know that I am a devil fruit power user, you should know how strong I am. Mr. 3 said with a smile. While talking, Mr. 3 was still controlling the white substance on his body, and then he was very strangely restored to himself from the wax liquid just now. What are you doing here? Brogy asked very hard. Me. Of course I want to make my beloved work. Mr. 3 said very excitedly. Humph. No matter what you try, I'm not going to make you happy. Brogy then struggled desperately, but he couldn't break free. Ha ha. Give it up. Give it up. The hardness of my candle coat after solidification is similar to that of iron. Even if it has the power of giants, it is useless as long as it is trapped. Mr. 3 said. In short, you have to use your brain in everything. There is no need to fight head to head. You are careless because you want to win. Anyway, Red Ogre Brogy with its Blue Ogre Dory, your battle should come to an end, isn't it a century of glory? You don't know yet, did we cheat on Dory? Ha ha ha. However, the one who wins in the end is me. Even if this human wants to stop the battle between you, the one who wins the biggest victory in the end is still me. In the past, the bounty for the two of you amounted to a total of 200 million Baileys. This reward is still valid to this day, and this man also has a bounty of 50 million Baileys. I feel like I have found a treasure that has been dormant for a long time. Ah. The so-called villain died of too many words. Mr. Point 3 kept talking about all the bad things he did. Now Brogy understood everything. He really felt that Dory's fighting power was not as good as before. After a long time, it turned out that it was this group of people is getting in the way. At this time Miss Valentine and Mr. Point 5 have come here. At the same time they also captured Princess Vivi. Mr. Shu Kang. Princess Vivi didn't expect Shu Kang to be caught too. Candle shackles. Mr. 3 once again used his ability to directly lock Princess Vivi's feet firmly. Mr. 5, bring that swordsman and that woman here, it's about to start. The flames on Mr. Point 3 feet's head became very vigorous, and then his hands immediately turned into white candles. Extra large candelabra. Immediately afterwards, a very huge candlestick appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Mr. Point 5 directly threw the caught Zoro and Nami on the ground, and then, Vivi, Nami, Zoro and Shu Kang were all inserted into the candlestick and locked their feet. Shu Kang, what should we do? In this situation, what should we do? Nami and the others asked. Wait for me for a while, I can break free. After Shu Kang's voice fell, a white thing appeared around and fell down. Don't inhale it. It's wax mist. If you inhale it, we will become candle puppets. Shu Kang reminded, and his companions immediately covered their mouths and noses. Getting deeper and deeper. Chapter 44 suppress Mr. 3, please collect. Ask. Ellipsis. Shu Kang smashed the candlestick under him with a punch. Everyone jumped from the high candlestick. At the same time, the giant Brogy was also full of anger and broke free of the candles that bound him. I already knew what Dory was hiding, but how can I stop because of sympathy? And now, I know the reason, and now that I know the reason, I'm going to cut it myself. This is my morality to my friend Dory. Brogy broke free from the shackles of the candle, but at this moment, Mr. 5 popped a booger, and the booger instantly exploded with great power. After the booger exploded on the front, even Brogy finally fell to the ground. What a long-winded monster. We should deal with this group of people seriously now, Mr. 5 said. At this time, Shu Kang and the others had been freed from their shackles, and naturally became the enemy of Baroque Works and the others. Huh, you guys. I didn't expect it. I still underestimate you. But next, you won't have another chance. Mr. 3 then used his fruit ability again, trying to use a wide range of the solidification ability completely binds everyone. How can it be so easy? Next, let you see how strong I am. Shu Kang's voice fell, and the whole person used the power of the devil fruit again, and at the same time, his eyes had become double-hook jade writing wheel eyes. Status. Mr. Point 3 feet's attack trajectory, Shu Kang saw clearly. However, at this time Shu Kang was fighting against not only Mr. Point 3 but also Mr. 5. Two senior agents from Baroque Works were both attacking Shu Kang. Vivi and Nami fight Miss Valentine's Day, while Zoro fights the mysterious Miss Going Weak. Shu Kang, who possesses the power of a wheel-shaped eye and a super devil fruit, has a defensive power against the sky. He is almost completely immune to Mr. Point 5 feet's explosive attacks. As for Mr. 3, Shu Kang only needs to use his own flexibility to completely avoid it. No matter how strong or fierce the attack was, as long as it didn't fall on Shu Kang, it would be meaningless. Although Mr. Point 3 and Mr. Point 5 attacked Shu Kang, they still had a great sense of powerlessness, and their attacks had no effect on Shu Kang. You bastard. You're also a devil fruit person. What is this strange fruit? Is it a moth? The two made no progress in their attacks, so they gradually lost the idea of fighting against Shu Kang. Forget it. Let's deal with other people directly. This guy is really difficult to deal with. He can fly into the air and evade our attacks very flexibly. It's a waste of time, it's better to deal with other people. Mr. 3 he was quite smart, but he still underestimated Shu Kang's ability. Come when you want, leave when you want. It's not that simple. Shu Kang's demonic light was flourishing, and he blocked the two of them at a very fast speed. Damn it. It seems that if you don't solve this guy, you can't solve other people. Mr. 3 said. In that case, he will leave it to me, and the others will be left to you. Mr. Point 5. Mr. Point 3 tried his best to activate his devil fruit, and he directly used a wide range of candles to seal off Shu Kang. He created a gap for Mr. 5, but at this moment, a boom sound resounded all around. What's the situation? Mr. 3 looked back. It turned out that a man with a straw hat had punched Mr. 5 in the face. This guy. Mr. 3 was shocked. In addition to the boy wearing a straw hat, there was also a boy with a long nose. You guys are here. At this time, Shu Kang also punched the candle wall and flew out. Damn. Ha, Luffy, Usopp, you guys are late. If you don't show up again, Zoro and the others might die. Shu Kang said with a smile, not feeling the slightest worry. Sorry, I'm stuck, Luffy said apologetically. At this moment, a voice came. Candle shackles. While Shu Kang's attention was on Luffy's side, Mr. Point 3 even tried to use his fruit ability to block Shu Kang's feet. But Shu Kang naturally wouldn't let Mr. Point 3 achieve his goal so easily. Luffy, the others are left to you. Leave this guy to me to clean up. Shu Kang immediately avoided Mr. Point 3's sneak attack. However, Mr. Point 3 didn't appear very discouraged. He was strange-isho, and even used the candle shackles again. This time the scope was much larger than the previous ones. Ha! This time Shu Kang didn't dodge at all, but rushed towards the wax liquid head-on. Ha ha! I didn't expect the guy with a bounty of 50 million to be a big idiot. Mr. 3 laughed proudly. He was very confident in his moves. It's the same hardness as steel, trapped here, the outcome is already known. Mr. 3 is ready to taste the fruits of victory. However, at this moment, Shu Kang's whole body was actually covered by the demon behind him, and the demon's body exuded a dark aura, which instantly elementalized Shu Kang's body. These candle liquids solidified immediately, and it was reasonable to say that they would fix Shu Kang's whole body. However, the actual situation was that Shu Kang walked out easily. Wait, what's the situation? The ability of the Logia Devil Fruit. Isn't this guy Paramesha? Mr. 3 also opened his mouth wide. He couldn't believe it at all. Shu Kang's abilities, such as extending his arms and making his body gigantic, are undoubtedly Paramesha's abilities. However, Shu Kang can be elementalized again, which is Logia's ability. Mr. Point 3 was also a little stunned at this time. What the hell is going on? If he is a Logia's ability, then he can dodge my attacks just now. Don't you understand? Shu Kang Vivi Isho walked towards Mr. 3 step by step. Mr. 3 was a little nervous, but he still tried to block Shu Kang's going with the power of his candle. Impossible. Impossible. You are a Paramesha-capable person. It can't be Logia. How can there be so few Logias in this remote corner of this great waterway? Mr. Point 3's attacks kept falling at Shu Kang's feet, but the elemental Shu Kang is naturally immune directly. To defeat Logia's abilities, either find their weakness or use Haki. In the first half of the Great Waterway, there are only a handful of strong people who can Haki. You've been attacking all the time, so it's my turn next. Shu Kang's voice appeared around Mr. 3, but Mr. Point 3 couldn't find Shu Kang at all. Shu Kang used his instant body to quickly stray around Mr. 3, and finally Shu Kang rushed out, punching out a straight punch, and the shadow behind him also attached. Devil's Fist. Candle Wall. Mr. Point 3's reaction was already fast. He used his candles to make a defensive wall. However, in front of Shu Kang's fist, the wall as hard as steel was like tofu scum. Ha! Shu Kang exerted a little force, and the candle wall collapsed suddenly. Chapter 45 _ Psychological Suggestions S. Shu Kang did not stop, but controlled the demon's fist to continue to extend until one punch knocked Mr. Point 3 into the air. Smoke and dust were everywhere, and Mr. Point 3 also flew directly from the ground to the other side. It's impossible. Mr. Point 3 turned out to be Miss Valentine, and Mr. Point 5 were shocked. They knew Mr. Point 3's abilities. People who easily broke the candle wall and knocked Mr. Point 3 flying should not appear at all in their concept. I said, it's already obvious now, isn't it? Baroque Works, are you still struggling? Shu Kang asked. At this time, he was looking at Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine's Day. Humph, that's not good. Mr. 5 was strange-ish, then looked at the little girl in a hat and eating cookies. So that's what you were relying on, Miss Going Joe. At this time, Shu Kang acted very mysteriously, and no one knew what he was going to do. However, at this time, Miss Valentine looked at Mr. 5's strange-ish, then jumped into the air, and then shouted, 10,000 kilograms. Then it fell from the sky. Do you think I'll be fooled by this kind of attack? Shu Kang just turned sideways lightly and avoided the attack. Who knew that Valentine's Day was instantly dodged, and Shu Kang suddenly exploded in front of him. Boom! Black smoke billowed, but Shu Kang was not hurt in any way. At the critical moment, Shu Kang dodged it. Not good. Shu Kang suddenly had a bad feeling. At this moment, Shu Kang saw Mr. 5 and others smiling proudly. Underfoot, black ink. I remember. It seems to be Miss Going Joe's special ability. Psychological suggestion. Shu Kang stopped at this moment. Shu Kang, what's going on? Why don't you move? Defeat them, said Nami and Usopp. No, I don't want it. Shu Kang shook his head. He was very resistant to what his partner said. What's going on? Luffy still didn't know what happened. Miss Going Joe left a yellow mark on Luffy again. Ha 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 ha. I'm dying of laughter. Luffy immediately burst into laughter. My stomach hurts from laughing. In the end, what's wrong? Nami, Zoro and the others had no idea what was going on. Ha! This guy has stepped into a trap. This is Miss Going's ability. She can mix different colors and give others a hint. Black is the black of betrayal. Yellow is the yellow of hilarity. Mr. 5 very proud and said, your strongest partners have already been recruited. I think this time the battle has already achieved results, haha. That's not necessarily, Shu Kang said lightly, and then wiped off the paint on Luffy's back. How come you didn't get hit? Mr. 5, Miss Valentine's Day and Miss Going Joe couldn't understand. They clearly saw Shu Kang stepping on the trap. Shu Kang Isho said, don't you know that my devil fruit has the ability to fly? Actually, my feet are still a little short of the paint. Shu Kang flapped his wings and raised his shoes, and sure enough, no paint was stained. How is that possible? It can be said that Shu Kang's operation completely refreshed the three views of the agents. They had never met a strong man like Shu Kang who could successfully escape the psychological suggestion attack. It's not over yet. What do you guys look like? We've already lost to you. Miss Valentine's voice fell, and Miss Going Joe once again used the colors on his drawing board to show his ability. Bullfighting red. The red paint was spilled on the ground, and it also had a certain shape. Obviously, the red color also had the ability to suggest psychologically. Rubber rocket launcher. At this point, Luffy hit again. His hands stretched out and attacked the paint. After yellow and black, is it red again? Shu Kang looked at Miss Going Joe and said. Yeah, seeing this red, you will be like a bull rushing towards a cloak, wanting to attack this bullfighting red, what a pity. Miss Going Joe said. However, Shu Kang grinned Isho and said, then try it. Luffy, avoid. Luffy immediately flashed back, and Shu Kang used his demonic power again, and the huge demonic claws stretched out instantly, but even Shu Kang attacked in the direction of the red paint just now uncontrollably. Bakuro, agent said triumphantly. Even if it is you, in the face of powerful psychological cues, you can only be controlled. Ha ha. However, at this time, Shu Kang did not stop at all, and made use of his own fruit ability. Then, just hear a dong. Immediately, the surroundings were dusty. At this time, Shu Kang had slowly walked in front of the crowd. Seeing the expression on his face, it was obvious that he had gotten rid of the hint of bullfighting. What? Actually, he got rid of it again. The Bakuro agents were once again shocked. Before, Shu Kang was able to escape because he could fly, but this time Shu Kang was directly attacked. Yes. How clever. It turns out that he increased his attack power, so he directly wiped off the paint on the ground. In this way, it will not be affected anymore. Nami thought to the side. It's not over yet, miss. Going-jo then used the blue on the drawing board to paint Luffy's back, and mixed it with the original yellow to form a green. Leisurely green. Luffy was hit again, and then turned into an idler. The battle was imminent, and this guy went to drink tea very leisurely. It's better if this guy leaves. At this time, Shu Kang had already seen the abilities of Miss Going-jo and other agents, and he didn't intend to waste time at this time. Little girl, as long as you can avoid your paint and don't watch, you won't be psychologically insinuated, right? So, just close your eyes and fight with you. Shu Kang actually closed his eyes afterwards. Close your eyes. Fight with us. It's ridiculous. Don't forget, we're all here. At this time, other senior Bakuro agents were also ready to attack. Are you treating us as a display? Zoro scolded beside him, ready to support Shu Kang at any time. However, this was a good opportunity for Shu Kang to test his abilities, and he said, Zoro, Nami, Luffy, Usopp, leave the next battle to me alone. Don't worry, it won't take long. After Shu Kang's words fell, the Straw Hats and his party all withdrew. Everyone felt that Shu Kang's original gentle and warm temperament had undergone earth-shaking changes. This guy's feeling has changed. Finally, are you serious? Zoro said lightly. I've never felt this way before. Does Shu Kang really want to deal with everyone in Baroque Works alone? Princess Vivi was also a little nervous. As an undercover agent, she knew how strong these senior agents were. Chapter 46-Defeat Agent Bakuro. For silver. Candle armor. Mr. 3, who had been blasted away, also wrapped the hard armor like steel tightly around his body. Mr. Point 5 is also ready for an unprecedented explosive battle. Miss Valentine's Day had already changed her weight. She jumped up lightly, ready to use her weight at any time to put a heavy pressure on Shu Kang. Miss Going-jo also prepared the paint, ready to paint it on Shu Kang at any time. Whoosh! Shu Kang was moved. Shu Kang's speed was as fast as lightning, and normal people couldn't capture Shu Kang's movement with the naked eye. Boom! The huge demon hand has been punched out, and then, there is an explosion. Boom! The surrounding area was filled with black smoke. It turned out that the moment Shu Kang attacked Mr. 5, he detonated something. When Mr. Point 5 became proud, Shu Kang appeared in front of Miss Going-jo the next second. Have a good night's sleep. Shu Kang's seemingly random kick directly kicked Miss Going-jo away. At the same time, her paint board was also broken into several pieces. Miss Going-jo didn't suffer much damage, but was knocked unconscious. So fast. But you can't be faster than me. Miss Valentine's Day once again increased his weight at this time. At this time, Shu Kang was about to move when he saw Mr. Point 3 feet's candle coming. Liquid from the candle poured out, and at the same time there was Mr. Point 5 feet's exploding booger. Humph! Demon wings. Shu Kang's demon wings wrapped his body, and then made a bang sound. As a result, although Miss Valentine's Day attacked Shu Kang, the final result was that Miss Valentine's Day had fractures in many parts of her body. She never imagined that Shu Kang's defense was so terrifyingly strong. Facing the overwhelming wax liquid and Mr. Point 5 feet's booger, Shu Kang directly chose elementalization. Could wait, Agent Bakuro and the others smiled complacently, but Shu Kang had already appeared behind Mr. 5. This time, I'll make you unable to get up. The devil's impact. Shu Kang slammed into Mr. Point 5 with force. As the bomber, he didn't even have time to detonate the explosion, so he vomited blood and fell to the ground. You are left alone, Mr. 3. Shu Kang looked at Mr. Point 3 and approached him step by step. What the hell? Beat them. However, no matter how strong you are, it is absolutely impossible for you to penetrate my armor. This is armor like steel. My candle armor. Although Mr. Point 3 said it very firmly, he couldn't hide his panic at this time. Ha, since you're so confident in your own hardness, I'll be kind to you, let's try him. The corner of Shu Kang's mouth raised Vivi, and he rushed towards Mr. Point 3 with lightning speed. Boom. 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 First sound was the sound of Shu Kang hitting Mr. 3, and the second and third sound were the violently reverberating sounds. Shu Kang's demonic attack was a way to use the strength of his entire body to rush towards the enemy, using his hard demonic body as a way to attack. Clap. The sound was the cracking of the candle casing. That's right, the candle coat, which was as hard as steel, was smashed into pieces by Shu Kang's body. PFF'd. At this time, Mr. 3 vomited out a mouthful of blood. How could he believe that in this world, there are people whose bodies are harder than steel? This is impossible. How can there be such a person in this world? Mr. 3000 was despairing. In addition to the broken candle armor on the outside of his own body was also severely injured. Like a cannonball, his body flew towards the back, and then there was no movement. It's scary. Fortunately, this guy is not our enemy. Nami and Usopp looked at Shu Kang and said. That's great. Princess Vivi also smiled. The crowd gathered again, taking care of Brogy and Dory by the way, and soon after, both giants recovered. Great, Master. Are you okay? Usopp looked at Brogy with concern and asked. Brogy glanced around, immediately focusing on Dory. Are you all right, Dory? Brogy said, hugging Dory tightly. Great, you're still alive, my friend. Haha. The giant Dory also hugged Brogy tightly. Although the two had been dueling for a long time, they had a more precious friendship than ordinary people. Today is such a good day. Thank God Elbaf. Brogy smiled excitedly. Ha ha ha. Dory looked at Brogy with tears in his eyes too. The battle in Little Garden was over. Everyone rested for a while, and everyone chatted a little, and at this time Shu Kang noticed that Nami's body had been bitten by mosquitoes. How did this happen? Shu Kang immediately walked to Nami's side, looking very nervous. It's okay, just bitten by a bug. Nami didn't seem to pay attention. What's wrong? Luffy, Usopp and the others asked immediately. Seeing this, Shu Kang immediately said earnestly, it is absolutely unusual to be bitten by insects on Prehistoric Island. We must go to find a doctor immediately. Shu Kang's appearance made Nami a little nervous. After all, Shu Kang was not someone who was aimless. I also want to leave, but the magnetic force connecting the next island will take a year to save. Zoro said lightly. At this time, Dory and Brogy said, you saved us, we want to do something to repay you, but there is nothing we can do about this. At the same time, Sanji suddenly appeared in front of everyone. Wow, Miss Nami, long time no see. You only appeared leisurely now, what are you going to do? Everyone couldn't help but start a fire. Sanji was immediately surprised when he saw the huge giant. What? Are you Mr. Point 3? Nami immediately asked back. I said, how did you know about Mr. Point 3? Immediately afterwards, Sanji recounted what happened before. It turned out that he secretly infiltrated Mr. Point 3's candle room, successfully talked to Crocodile, and then took out the permanent pointer to Alabasta. Everyone immediately got up in joy. In the Great Waterway, the most frustrating thing is that you can only use the pointer to drive, otherwise on the vast sea, even if you fly, you will lose your way. We can go in the direction of Alabasta. If we encounter an inhabited island on the way, we must stop. Shu Kang reiterated the fact that Nami was bitten by a bug. Then, Nami seemed to be indifferent. Shu Kang repeatedly emphasized the seriousness of Nami's condition, and Nami believed it. Speaking of which, we still have to leave quickly. Don't drag it any further. Nami hurriedly reminded Luffy when she saw that Luffy was still having a banquet with Usopp. As the captain, Luffy naturally knew that the sea was his direction, so he looked at the two giants and said, "Then, two uncles. We have to go." Chapter 47 Nami's condition _____. Well, it seems that you are on your way, although unfortunately, we will not leave you. Little blue-haired girl, I hope your country is safe. Thank you, Vivi said. Goodbye. Don't die anymore, Luffy said, laughing as he walked. Master, one day I will go to Elbaf to see you, Usopp replied excitedly. And Zoro and Sanji have been comparing whose prey is bigger. But in the end Nami said that Mary couldn't hold such a big prey at all. Shu Kang looked worried, but this was seen by Princess Vivi. Mr. Shu Kang, is Nami really serious? Vivi asked. Yes, some kind of bacteria or virus has entered her body, and it is still in the incubation period. After a period of time, she will become ill, and then. So, we must find the doctor as soon as possible. Shu Kang didn't say who the doctor was, and it was very likely that something would go wrong on the sea. Not far away, two giants were already fighting at the estuary, and they seemed to be talking to themselves. The people who came to this island. The biggest reason for not being able to reach the next island is in front of you. You fought your life to protect our glory. So we, no matter what opponent we face, never put to shame the glory of friendship. Trust us. Going straight. No matter what happens, don't change your direction. I see, Luffy responded with fighting spirit. When the boat slowly sailed out of the estuary, a huge island-eating monster appeared in front of the boat. Humph. Has it appeared? I'll make the way for you. Bet on Elbaf's name. The two giants seemed to be moving. Nami saw that the huge monster in front of her had opened its mouth, and immediately wanted to direct everyone to turn. Straight going, right, Luffy? Usopp asked. Of course, Luffy said confidently. Idiot, this time is different from the one I met Laboon. Nami said nervously, the whole ship was at great risk of being destroyed. I know, stop arguing. Luffy sat leisurely on Mary's head, eating pancakes. If we don't change the course of the ship, we will. Nami persuades again and again, but the others don't listen. Give it up, Nami. Zoro shook his head, silently looking at the monster in front of him. Vivi and Run Fast were a little too afraid to face them, and immediately asked Shu Kang, Mr. Shu Kang. Can we really believe what they say? Are we really going to rush into that monster's mouth? Yes, trust them, just like you once believed in me. Shu Kang was also very confident. No way, it's too late. Nami's tears came out as she watched Mary drive into the belly of the island eater. At this moment, Dory of the estuary said, You really want to eat it, you monster island-eating goldfish. It's not just how huge this guy is, but also the size and length of the feces he pulls out after eating all the surrounding islands, which I remember are huge feces called the Barren Islands. Ha ha, I remember thinking it was a land landing before. Dory responded with a smile. It was a nostalgic adventure and seeing them reminded me of the old days. At this time, the goldfish finally closed its mouth, and the two giants immediately moved. They both raised their weapons and said, The only ones who can pass our level are the bloody warriors. Taste the Elbaf legend, the strongest spear of the giants. In the belly of the goldfish, Luffy and Usopp shouted loudly, Going straight. Going straight. At this moment, a super powerful shockwave suddenly came from the rear of the ship. Light flashed, Mary actually saw the sun again, and the huge goldfish seemed to have a big hole in its stomach. Mary flew into the air as if he had grown wings. The speed was extremely fast, and there were beautiful water splashes all around him. The blue sea looked beautiful under the sunlight. Going straight. Luffy was very excited, and Usopp was also bursting into tears. Even the sea splits together. This is the power of Elbaf's warriors. It's amazing. Friends. Going. The weapons of the two giants were broken at this time, but they laughed in unison. Mary finally landed on the sea, and then drove in the direction of Alabasta Kingdom at a normal speed. At this moment, Shu Kang was prompted by the system again. Ding ding ding. Congratulations on leaving Little Garden. Successfully signed in. Congratulations on acquiring basic ninjutsu knowledge. It enables you to understand ninjutsu, chakra and other things in the Naruto world, and also comes with the most basic three-body technique. This knowledge will go directly into the depths of your brain, making it easier for you to understand and apply. Quote. The system's reward this time does not sound like a lot, but it is the most important part of the Hokage battle system. In Naruto world, ninjutsu is particularly important, and this time the reward is exactly the most basic things, and the most basic things can make up the most complex things. Shu Kang hurriedly received the reward, and the endless knowledge about ninjutsu came from his brain. Now Shu Kang can say that he can start to study chakra and ninjutsu, but Shu Kang is not in the mood to do this at this time. At this point, Luffy and Usopp are still immersed in the power of giants, and Nami has something wrong. Can you help me see the hands? Vivi. Nami started to sweat coldly all over her body, and her whole body was exhausted. Of course, Vivi went over to help Nami. And Shu Kang had seen something wrong with Nami next to him, so he immediately put his hand on Nami's forehead. It's hot. You've got a fever. Leave the sailing thing to me, Vivi, go and help Nami into rest. Shu Kang said immediately. Seeing that Nami really had a high fever, Vivi immediately informed the rest of the boat about it. Everyone was in the cabin, standing in front of Nami's bed, not knowing what to say. There was no ship doctor on board, and everyone was helpless, even Shu Kang had nothing to do. Well, take these things temporarily, and respond to emergencies. Shu Kang took out some cooling ice packs from his magic bag, as well as some modern pain relievers. Although there is no way to treat Nami, it can temporarily suppress Nami's condition. Shu Kang immediately asked Sanji to find warm water, and then asked Vivi to give Nami medicine. But after a while, Nami felt a little more comfortable, and her body temperature dropped a little. Will Nami die? Luffy and the others asked. Chapter 48_People at the Sea Station. I don't know, but the situation is not optimistic at all. Shu Kang said. Ah, Miss Nami. Sanji also burst into tears. No, Nami said, although she was resting on the bed, but she didn't seem to be able to fall asleep. She said, I have a newspaper in the drawer of my desk, right? Vivi found it immediately and was surprised when he saw the content. It's impossible. What's wrong? What happened? Luffy asked. Is it about Alabasta? Vivi. Sanji also asked. The 300,000 King's army has defected and joined the rebel army. It was originally a suppression war of 600,000 King's army against the 400,000 rebel army. Now the situation has changed immediately. After Vivi saw the news, his whole body was not well. Nami said in great pain. Arabasa's riot is finally about to reach its climax. It was a newspaper from 3 days ago. I'm sorry, even if I let you read it, the boat can't go any faster. I'm afraid you will. Worried, so I hid the newspaper. Luffy, got it? Nami asked. I see. Luffy nodded. But if you don't see a doctor. Usopp was interrupted by Nami. It's okay, the thermometer is broken, I can still do it. Besides, Shu Kang's medicine is quite effective, and the anti-primary antibody will always pass. Although Nami looked sick, she insisted. I'm fine, don't worry, the ship will arrive at Alabasta as usual. Nami walked slowly to the deck. At this time, Shu Kang saw the problem. That is, Nami's condition could not be delayed at all, but Alabasta was in a hurry. War is about to break out. If this is not stopped, the kingdom of Alabasta is over. The country will be taken by crocodile. Vivi was also in a state of worry and anxiety at this time. I can't wait. I have to go back to Alabasta right now. If it's too late, 1,000,000 people will start a senseless cannibalism. Vivi's mood was very painful, and as a princess, she still took on a lot. If we can directly invite the doctor to the ship and become our partner, then not only will Nami be safe, but Alabasta will also be able to catch up. Shu Kang said. But where to go to find a doctor? Everyone fell into melancholy again. Zoro's voice came from outside the cabin. Come out. It's time to work. Let's go out and have a look. Luffy, Shu Kang, and others left the cabin. It turned out that because of Zoro, Mary's yaw was very serious, and the surrounding air changed. Hurry up. Although Shu Kang knew that Nami was trying to be brave, at this moment, he didn't want to disappoint Nami. Following Shu Kang's mobilization, everyone moved. Everyone pulled the mast together, listened to Nami and Shu Kang's command, and turned the boat around together. Busy for a while, Nami stared at the permanent record pointer to Alabasta, and she was relieved to see the red pointer pointing forward. Princess Vivi pushed open the cabin door at this time, showing a very serious expression. I got on everyone's boat, and it may be too much to say this, but now my country is facing a major crisis. In short, I think go back quickly, without a moment's delay, so I hope this ship can go to the kingdom of Alabasta as quickly as possible. Quote. Everyone was silent at this time, but Nami said with a smile, of course. Didn't I promise you? Everyone thought that Vivi would only estimate the safety of her own country, but ignored Nami. Vivi changed the subject. Then, let's go to the island with a doctor immediately. Get Nami's disease cured as soon as possible, and then go to Alabasta. Is this the fastest speed of this ship? Yeah, it doesn't get faster than that. Luffy smiled too. That's right. Shu Kang also nodded to Vivi, expressing his approval of Vivi. Usopp tentatively asked, is this okay? As a princess, you should be worried about 1,000,000 citizens, right? Yeah, that's why Nami's illness must be cured as soon as possible. Vivi said firmly. Well said, Vivi, I'm in love with you again. Sanji also smiled at Vivi. Really courageous. Zoro also praised. Obviously, Vivi's words and deeds convinced the whole crew of Straw Hats. I am so sorry. Nami looked at Vivi apologetically. Don't force it, Nami. Before Vivi could comfort Nami, Luffy started arguing next to her. Look, what is that? It turned out that on the sea ahead, a hurricane with a diameter of several hundred meters appeared, and the power of the storm could be felt from such a distance. Wait a minute, that's the direction. Vivi blushed. It was the direction of our ship going until just now. If you going like that, you'll definitely hit him head on. Usopp also said in horror. It's so dangerous. We really saved a life. Luffy, who was fearless, said in shock. Vivi stared at the hurricane with an expression of disbelief. This time, she has thoroughly experienced Nami's navigation. Nami is not only a master of navigation who relies on theory to predict the weather, but she herself is extremely sensitive to changes in the weather. It can be said that Nami can be very accurate in any situation. Captured, simply born to be a navigator. If it wasn't for Nami, our entire ship would have died. Shu Kang came to a point. Although Nami is usually a little greedy for money, as a navigator and a partner in the Straw Hat group, she is still very reliable at critical moments. Okay, let's go to the doctor. Luffy and the others naturally tried their best to go to the doctor first. Before looking for a doctor, Shu Kang used the magic bag given to him by the system to take out some modern medicine ibuprofen to relieve pain and cool down. Sanji made a special trip to prepare some light food suitable for Nami in the back kitchen. As a girl, Vivi takes care of Nami carefully. Shu Kang was on the deck, staring at the recording pointer, and commanding Luffy, Zoro, Usopp and others as soon as the ship showed signs of yaw. In this way, everyone persisted for a while, but but Nami's condition did not ease in the slightest. Although there were modern medicines, Nami was bitten by an ancient insect, and that toxin could not be relieved by Shu Kang. At this time, snowflakes fluttered in the sky. At this time Zoro held the telescope and said, "Hey, will someone stand on the sea?" "What?" Usopp replied immediately. "How is that possible? Stop joking. How can a man stand at sea?" Luffy said, too. Sharing round eyes. Open. Shu Kang turned on writing round eyes without saying a word. With the blood of the Whirlpool family, he didn't have to worry about the consumption of chakra, and ergo Jade writing round eyes would not have any physical damage. Burden. Shu Kang really saw a strangely dressed person above the sea. Chapter 49 Killing Wapol ______. The man was dressed a bit like a circus clown. He was carrying a bow and a barrel of arrows. Of course, these were not important. The important thing was that in the ice and snow, this man was standing on the sea like this. Not moving at all. "It seems that he is really alone," Shu Kang said. Luffy and Usopp wiped their eyes, and the man on the sea was staring at them blankly. "It's really cold today," the man said suddenly. "Yeah, it's quite cold. It's terribly cold." "Really?" The mysterious figure actually responded to the crowd. Shu Kang faintly felt that something was wrong. "Get ready for battle." Shu Kang just reacted, and the whole Mary seemed to slide backwards. A huge submarine floated up from the foot of the man just now. This submarine was several times bigger than Mary, and Mary seemed very insignificant. "What is that?" "Watermelon." Luffy and the others all grabbed the railing of the boat firmly, and no one knew what this thing that suddenly appeared was exactly. "Is this thing a boat?" Zoro asked. "In short, this group of people should not be good people," Shu Kang said. "No, is it Baroque Works? Can you find us in the vast sea?" Usopp also guessed. At this time, the boat in front of him slowly raised a sign of a hippo, and also raised a pirate flag by the way. "Oops. It turned out to be a pirate," Usopp said. "Good. That's amazing." Luffy was also surprised at this time. Even when we were so busy. Zoro was a little helpless at this time. After all, there were wounded on board. "If this guy really dares to attack us, I will definitely not show mercy," Shu Kang said lightly, his eyes revealing infinite terror. The reason why Shu Kang was so serious this time was naturally because there was Nami on board. Shu Kang really regarded Nami as a partner. If someone delayed Nami's illness, Shu Kang would destroy him. Luffy, Zoro, Usopp swallowed at this moment. Even if they were a little scared, they had challenged Shu Kang countless times, but the final result ended in failure. And every time Shu Kang was in a less serious state, he defeated them. If Shu Kang was serious and fought with all his strength, how strong would he be? So, will there be survivors on the opposite boat? Although Luffy is the captain in name, the strongest among the Straw Hats is Shu Kang. At this time, there was actually a deathly laughter from the opposite side. "Wow, ha ha ha, be shocked. It was attacked by this large diving surprise sailboat, the White Iron King." The voice was loud and arrogant. On the deck of the White Iron King in front of him, a group of pirates were standing neatly. The group of pirates appeared to be well trained and well equipped, with most carrying rifles and a few carrying swords. "It seems that these people are not targeting us, they just happen to be met by us," Shu Kang analyzed. "We're so unlucky." Usopp smiled wryly. Sanji in the cabin heard the sound, sensed something was wrong, and had already walked out of the cabin. As soon as he walked through the cabin, Sanji saw everything around him. He lightly lit a cigarette and asked, "What happened?" "We were attacked," Luffy said. Zoro, Luffy, Usopp, and Shu Kang were all surrounded by a number of heavily armed pirates at this time, and multiple guns were aimed at them. As soon as Sanji came out, he was naturally surrounded. The number of pirates on the other side was several times that of Straw Hats, but except for Usopp, there was no panic on everyone's face. "Hey, I think it's the same, depending on the situation," Sanji said calmly. Shu Kang, Luffy, lack of resistance made the other party's team feel very strange. Are you really pirates? It's a group of strange guys. Have you caught 5 people? No matter what you say, there may not be only 4 people in the pirate group. Just like a potato. This man was wearing a suit of steel on the upper part of his body, and he seemed to have been transformed by steel below his nose. The most surprising thing was that he swallowed a string of meat knives while eating meat. The Straw Hats and his party were dumbfounded at this time, and they had never seen anyone chewing a knife and eating it. That's it, I probably know who you are. The corner of Shu Kang's mouth rose, and he sneered at this moment. Oh, do you know me? The man asked. Wapol, who has eaten the fruit, should you want to go to Drum Island? Shu Kang asked rhetorically. After hearing Shu Kang's words, Wapol immediately laughed. Wow. You actually know my name and even where I want to go, that's amazing. Don't you happen to have a permanent pointer to the Drum Kingdom? Wapol asked. No, but I want to give you a piece of advice. Shu Kang said. Advice? What advice? Wapol asked. I'll give you 3 seconds, get back to your boat immediately, otherwise, don't blame me for doing it to you. Shu Kang still had that smile on his face, but at this time, Shu Kang had obviously moved to kill. Are you going to start? Sanji and the others were also getting ready. As soon as Shu Kang started, they were ready to start at the same time. However, at this time Wapol laughed out loud again. Wow, haha, that's so funny. You said you were going to do it. In front of such a disparate number of people. It's ridiculous. Shu Kang was not in the mood to joke with Wapol. At this time, Shu Kang started to count on his own. 3. Wow, haha, the enemy burst into laughter. 2. Shu Kang knew that it was impossible for this group of people to leave, so he had already put his hand on his shira. Prepare me to fire, Wapol said with a smile. 1. You can die. Shu Kang's voice fell. Shoot, kill them. Wapol also gave the order to attack at this time. Then, for a few seconds, a scene that Wapol will never forget happened. Shu Kang's whole body actually disappeared in place, a figure flashed quickly on Mary, and his body had gradually turned red. 1 person, 1 knife, Shira is alive. Shu Kang started dancing on Mary. As for Luffy and others, they barely had time to fight back, and the enemies surrounding them were already killed by Shu Kang. Every second, at least 3 enemies would be killed by Shu Kang's Shira. And their bullets were almost completely unable to injure the ghostly Shu Kang. Lord Wapol, this man. We are no match for this man at all. Ah! All the enemies were killed by Shu Kang before they could even scream. At this moment, even the Straw Hats and his party felt that Shu Kang was a little strange. Bloodthirsty, killing, and destroying had almost become synonymous with Shu Kang. Everyone voted for a silver vote. Thank you. Chapter 50_Trouble on Drum Island __. Wapol had no other actions, so Shu Kang continued to harvest the lives of Wapol's men at a very fast speed. It's over. When Shu Kang finished speaking, he had already inserted Shira back into the scabbard. At this time, Shu Kang's whole body had been dyed red with blood. Even though Shira mode was adopted, his whole body was still blood red. On Mary's deck, there were already dead bodies from Wapol's men. You, who are you? Wapol was also stunned at this time. He didn't expect that the young man in front of him would be so strong. I don't have time to pay attention to you, Wapol, so get out of here. Shu Kang shrank with one hand, and then shoved it out. The devil behind him also slammed it out. The devil's palm rushed towards Wapol with a mighty thunderous force. Wapol didn't even have time to open his mouth, and the whole person was blown away and disappeared above the boundless sea. The Straw Hats and his party were stunned, and the cadres of the White Iron number opposite were also stunned. It's amazing. Sanji grinned Isho. He seemed to be instantly angry with Shu Kang. So, for Nami, well done. Zoro is also VV Isho. Ha ha ha. Usopp and Luffy also laughed. After everyone cleaned up the corpses, the other party did not stay too much on the White Iron. Their boss, Wapol, was a fruit person, and falling into the sea would only be a dead end, so they fled the scene with all their strength. After easily dealing with this group of people, the friends looked at Shu Kang and asked, "Prophet, who the hell is that guy?" "You may not believe it. That guy is a king," Shu Kang said. "What? What kind of king? Can you become a pirate? Is it the same as Vivi? Is there something unspeakable?" Everyone asked with great curiosity. "Thinking too much. This guy is purely a bastard. If we kill him, the enemy on their white iron may still attack us. Although we are not afraid, this will waste time and may delay Nami's illness, so, I just threw it away." Shu Kang then changed the conversation and said, "However, when we see this guy, it means that the Drum Kingdom is not far away." "What's that?" Everyone looked at Shu Kang with a bewildered expression. Shu Kang then explained, "There is the Winter Island closest to us, and there are doctors with extremely good medical skills." "Great." Luffy was very surprised, but then immediately asked, "But Winter Island? What?" Meteorologically, the islands on the Great Route are divided into 4 groups. Summer Island, Spring Island, Autumn Island, Winter Island, and then each island has its own 4 seasons. That is to say, at least one has to adapt. From summer on Sha Island to winter on East Island, these 16 stages have to change in weather. Of course, there are still many completely unclassifiable exotic islands and unknown climates. The person who explained it was not Shu Kang, but Vivi. Vivi was the princess of Alabasta Kingdom, and she worked as an undercover agent in Bakuro. She often traveled on the Great Route. Naturally, Shu Kang must be more clear. It turns out that the Great Route is because there are so many kinds of islands at the same time, so the ocean between them has such a strange climate. Usopp also understood. So, if the climate is stable, it means that it is very close to the island. After Vivi reminded, Shu Kang immediately made arrangements. "Then, from now on, Sanji and I will take turns to keep vigil, and the others will follow step by step." "No problem." Sanji was very positive. The reason was to help the lady to share. Zoro, Luffy, Usopp, Shu Kang still feels that they are very unreliable in terms of sailing vigils. Zoro is likely to fall asleep, and Usopp and Luffy are likely to be careless and forget to look at the record pointer. Vivi is responsible for taking care of Nami, and only Sanji and Shu Kang can take on such an important responsibility. In this way, Mary sailed at sea for a few days, and Nami's condition became more and more serious. Until one day, the climate finally stabilized, the surrounding temperature seemed to drop, and one morning, Sanji finally saw the island through the telescope. "Wow, I saw the island." The whole ship immediately knew the news. From the look of the island, it was snow-capped, and it was obvious that it was a winter island. "Is this the Drum Island? Will there be a doctor?" Luffy asked excitedly. "Of course, Nami's body is expected to recover." Shu Kang finally smiled, and Drum Island was in front of him. "Luffy, let's say in advance, we're not going on an adventure this time. We'll leave immediately after Nami sees the doctor." Sanji said very well, but he didn't forget that Vivi still had a lot of burdens on his back. Since there is snow, will there be snow monsters? How many people do we want to land on the island? Usopp was also open to his brain. "Let's prepare for the landing," Sanji said. Shu Kang recalled the plot carefully, and then said, "If you want to land on the island, you'd better put away the pirate flag." "Ah, why is this?" Everyone was very puzzled. "Is this island not welcoming pirates?" Usopp asked. "Yes, the pirates once left painful memories on this island, so we'd better." Shu Kang was interrupted by Luffy before he could finish speaking. "Don't accept it, we're not other pirates, they should understand us, we're just here to heal, let's just say, they should be able to listen." Luffy replied naively, but also showed his stubbornness, "Then that is, the pirate flag cannot be received. In order to become a One Piece King of Pirates, the flag on the ship can be received as soon as it is received." "How can it be?" "Well, you're the captain, listen to you, so if there's trouble, Luffy, I'm sure you can handle it. Of course. Luffy is very confident. He also understands Shu Kang's desire to rescue Nami, but One Piece King of Pirates is his life creed, so naturally he won't easily put away his own flag. Shu Kang actually expected Luffy to make such a choice, but he still wanted to try it. In front of the Drum Island, there are several very huge tower-like things. Mary drove in along the mouth of the river and was at the source in no time. So, who gets off the boat and goes to the doctor? They asked each other. I'm going. Sanji raised his hand. I'm going. Luffy raised his hand naturally. Then, I'll go too. Shu Kang is more reliable and stable, so he will naturally solve the problem faster. However, at this time, there was a voice around. That's it. Pirates. Immediately afterwards, the left and right sides were so densely packed with people that they all held weapons and seemed to be ready. The Straw Hat group glanced left and right, and naturally understood in their hearts. It seems that this is what Shu Kang said is trouble. Sanji said in a low voice. Chapter 51 Mr. Dalton, please collect. Ask for a silver note. At this time, the leader came out and warned. Pirates, listen carefully, leave this place quickly, and leave immediately. We're here to find a doctor, Luffy said. There are patients on board, Vivi added. However, the people around immediately responded, we won't be fooled by this, despicable pirates. This is our island, we can't let pirates step into it. Okay, pull up the anchor and get out of here. Or even your ship will blow up. Sanji sighed. It's really ruthless. Obviously this is the first time we meet, and they really hate pirates. Don't talk back. At this time, someone shot directly at Sanji. Wait a minute, Sanji. Vivi stopped the angry Sanji, only to hear, bang. A bullet came at an extremely fast speed. Bang. It was too late to say. Shu Kang was ready to protect Vivi, and at this moment, he jumped and blocked behind Vivi and Sanji. Yes, Shu Kang used his body to block Vivi and Sanji. Immediately afterwards, Shu Kang fell to the ground. Shu Kang. Shu Kang. Luffy is furious. Zoro is also ready to draw his sword, and Sanji is ready to attack. It's okay. It's just a bullet. It won't hurt me. Shu Kang stood up slowly. The black wings behind him spread out. A bullet was slowly sucked into the black wings, and then fell to the ground. Devil fruit capable. The man headed by the riverbank was also surprised. He knew that capables were not easy to deal with. Wait. Since you don't want us to land, can I ask you to call a doctor? At this time, Vivi actually knelt on the ground, pleading with him. Our partner is suffering because of a serious illness. Please help us, please. Shu Kang was very moved by Vivi's actions at this time, and he was able to let go of the sex, kneeling and begging for strangers who might hurt them. Even ordinary people can't do it, not to mention that Vivi is expensive as a princess. If you win them, what will Nami do? Vivi asked, and for a moment, Luffy didn't know how to respond. Afterwards, Luffy turned and knelt on the deck, and said, I'm sorry, it was my fault, please call the doctor, please save our companions. We don't have any malice. We are all a group of children who are chasing the sea. They are called pirates. In fact, they are adventurers who want to take risks and fulfill their dreams. We are all good people on board, please. Shu Kang's words still played a role. Effect. I'll take you to the village, come with me. Seeing that the leader of the other party agreed, the partners all smiled. Immediately afterwards, everyone landed on the icy Drum Island. The ground is covered with thick snow, and the trees are also covered with thick snow. As a winter island, the environment is indeed very harsh. While walking, I only heard the man say, I will give you a piece of advice first. There is only one witch doctor in our country. Dr. Witch. Everyone was a little puzzled. What is that? It's an inexplicable country. Besides, what country is this? Sanji muttered. This country doesn't have a name yet. The leader said lightly, as if something evoked his memory. A country without a name, is there such a country? Vivi also felt a little weird. Shu Kang said casually, maybe their previous king was an asshole. Everyone was very scared and worried that Shu Kang's words would cause strong dissatisfaction among these people. However, not only were these people not dissatisfied, but they remained silent, as if tacitly acquiescing to Shu Kang's words. At this moment, Usopp screamed in fright, "There! Everyone, hurry up and pretend to be dead." Sure enough, Shu Kang saw a huge bear walking towards everyone step by step. "It's a hiking bear, it's not dangerous, don't forget the etiquette of climbing, and salute him," said the leader. Afterwards, everyone bowed and saluted him very obediently. After walking on the snow for a while, everyone finally led the man to their village. "This is our village, Big Horn," said the chief. "This village is not bad, there are many animals, and the buildings are mostly brick buildings. Although it is not big, it makes everyone feel a little warm under the white snow. It seems like there are strange animals walking around." As expected of the snow country, Luffy and Usopp exclaimed. Sanji said to Nami, "Miss Nami, we're in a village where people live." It's a village. Originally, Sanji should be carrying Nami on his back, but Shu Kang was afraid that Sanji would take the opportunity to eat tofu, so naturally he carried Nami on his back. The leader at the head said to his subordinates, "Then everyone has worked hard. Except for those who are sentry, everyone else should go back." It turns out that these people are residents of the island. These residents still didn't seem to believe the Straw Hats and his party, and they all asked, "But are you all right? These people are pirates. I'm afraid they won't hurt us. This is an intuition that I have cultivated over the years. Believe me," the leader said with great certainty. "Since Mr. Dalton has said so, well, it seems that there will be no action from their appearance. I'll leave it to you, please be careful, Mr. Dalton. If you have anything, just call us." The residents said goodbye to Dalton and then left with their weapons one by one. "Mr. Dalton, thank you for your trust in us." Shu Kang remembered the leader's name, and naturally expressed his thanks again and again. "You're welcome, you'd better come to my house first," Dalton said. Next, the surrounding residents began to say that they would vote for Dalton in the election, but Dalton quickly refused, saying that he was a sinner. Shu Kang actually didn't know much about the plot of Drum Island. He only knew that Wapol, who had eaten the fruit before, once ruled here. Forget it, I'll find out soon. Shu Kang followed Dalton into his home without thinking much. After putting Nami on the bed, making the quilt, and letting the fire in the house light, Dalton started talking. "I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Dalton. I'm now the captain of the guard on this island. Please forgive our rude behavior. Can I ask you a question?" Dalton said. "I always feel like I've seen you somewhere," Dalton said, looking at Vivi. "One must be mistaken." Vivi was afraid that his identity would be seen through, and naturally denied it. "Compared to this, please tell me about the witch. I took Nami's body temperature just now, and it was already as high as 42 degrees. Vivi quickly changed the subject. 42 degrees. High fever. Dalton was also taken aback. If the temperature were any higher, she would die. Please cast a silver vote tilde help me keep reading tilde thank you. Chapter 52 Dr. Witch and Chopper __. These are the last antipyretics. Shu Kang's magical bag is not endless. At this moment, the last antipyretic and analgesics are left. Let Nami take some medicine and feel a little better, but the situation is still so serious. Sanji and others are anxious. So, we want to know, where is the guy called the witch? "Witch, can you see some mountains from this window?" Dalton said. "Yes, is that a mountain?" Shu Kang was also a little surprised. It turned out that the towering white object was a mountain. "The names of those peaks are called Drum Peak. Can you see the castle on the highest mountain in the middle?" Dalton asked. "Yes, you can see it." Shu Kang vaguely did see what the castle looked like. The castle is uninhabited now, and the only doctor in this country, Dr. Kurha, who is called the Witch, lives in that castle, Dalton said. What? Why is it so far away? Then call him quickly, there are acutely ill patients here. Sanji also felt very unlucky. It seems that there is no way to directly contact the witch. If possible, Mr. Dalton would have done so already. Shu Kang pondered for a while, then said. Yes, we have no way of contacting her. Dalton nodded regretfully. Is this also a doctor? What kind of person is she? Sanji also felt that this witch was a little unbelievable. Although there is no doubt about her medical skills, she is a somewhat eccentric old woman, and she is already close to 140 years old, Dalton said. 140 years old. Everyone was shocked. Shu Kang knew that this witch was Chopper's master, and he also knew that this witch was not young, but it was the first time he knew that this person was 140 years old. No wonder, this old woman always likes to ask people if she wants to know the secret of her youth. Shu Kang couldn't help thinking. What should the people of this country do if they are sick or injured? Asked Princess Vivi. She would sometimes come down from a mountain on a whim, find a patient, cure them, and take everything she likes from the patient's house as a reward, Dalton said. What a nasty old woman. Usopp slammed over his tea. It's like a pirate. Luffy also complained. But how does such an old woman get down from which mountain? Princess Vivi's question smelt to the point. Dalton replied immediately. There is such a rumor that some eyewitnesses of rat life saw that she would descend from the sky on a sleigh on a moonlit night, which is why she was called a witch. And, others say, she lives with a strange creature she hasn't seen before. Usopp said in fear immediately after hearing this. That's right. Look, sure enough, there are monsters. It must be a snow monster. I already said that there will be snow monsters here. She is indeed the only doctor here, but she is also an old woman who doesn't want to have anything to do with her. She can only wait here until the next day she goes down the mountain, Dalton said. No way. Shu Kang shook his head and said, Nami, I can't hold on anymore, and we don't know when this witch will go down the mountain. I'll go find the witch, at least, I'm faster than you. After Shu Kang finished speaking, he used his devil fruit, and the wings on his back slowly spread out. When everyone looked at Shu Kang's wings, they thought, yes Shu Kang can fly. In this case, with Nami, you should arrive at the castle faster. Princess Vivi also showed a smile. But, in this case, will the burden on Nami-san be too great? She has a fever. If she goes there, it will be worse. Shu Kang, if you can get there and convince the doctor, why don't you come down? Shu Kang thought about it too, but looking at Nami who was in great pain right now, Shu Kang still said, don't worry, I will reach the castle as quickly as I hold Nami in my arms. Some of the doctor's medicines are in the castle. Treating there, I am sure it will be better. Quote. Shu Kang's insistence was effective, and everyone finally agreed. Critical moment. It's up to the deputy captain. Nami is saved. Sanji was also very happy. Shu Kang. Nami, please. Luffy also knew that Shu Kang was a devil who ate the devil fruit and possessed the ability to fly. When he was dying, he entrusted Nami's life to Shu Kang. Dalton was a little surprised when he saw Shu Kang's wings. He is also a capable person, but he felt a pressure from the superior to the inferior in Shu Kang. If you can fly, then these difficulties and dangers are nothing to you. Dalton then added, the witch has a very strange temper, so be prepared. Got it. Since Shu Kang wanted to spread his wings and fly, he couldn't just hold Nami. He hugged Nami tightly, and he could feel the heat of Nami's body, which showed that she was really sick. Okay, I'm leaving. Shu Kang then used the power of his own fruit, and immediately stretched out a pair of wings behind him. Immediately after, Shu Kang soared into the sky and flew towards the highest magnetic drum peak in the center. Because Shu Kang flew directly, it was much easier. On the one hand, he didn't need to consume too much physical strength, and on the other hand, he didn't need to deal with the irascible rabbit legion, Laban. Not knowing how long it was faster than walking, Shu Kang had already arrived at the entrance of the castle. Looking at the snow-covered castle, Shu Kang was not in the mood to appreciate it, but rushed in with Nami in his arms. I don't know if it was an illusion or not, Shu Kang felt that Nami in front of him was holding him tighter. Nami, hold on. Shu Kang then entered the castle and shouted loudly, Doctor! Doctor! Huh, someone came. At this time, an old woman with a wrinkled face finally appeared in the castle. Hurry up and save her. She was bitten by a bug on Prehistoric Island. Shu Kang said very nervously. At this point, he didn't know how serious Nami was. Prehistoric Island. Chopper. Come on. After the witch finished speaking, a very tall person picked up Nami and put her on a bed. Immediately afterwards, the two directly ignored Shu Kang. The bug on Prehistoric Island. Chopper, can you see her condition? The witch asked. Caskia, said the huge figure. That's right, it's Caskia, this little girl is up to you. I want to have a chat with this gentleman. The witch walked slowly to Shu Kang and said, let's go, let's go. Talk, don't get in the way of Chopper saving this little girl. Chapter 53_Blue-Nosed Reindeer Chopper __. Shu Kang nodded, and walked with the witch to the living room of the castle. As soon as she arrived in the living room and sat down, the witch raised her wine bottle and took a sip. It's amazing, you should be an able person, right? The witch asked. Oh, why do you say that? Shu Kang asked curiously. Magnum Peak is the highest mountain in the country and the habitat of Rabbit, so it is difficult for ordinary people to get close to it. On your body, there aren't even many snowflakes. It looks like it's flying up. Maybe you are a fruit person. The witch asked with a smile. You can see that Zhang is still old and hot. Shu Kang's words were very useful to the witch, and the witch immediately asked, old? Then the witch almost changed her face, but Shu Kang responded immediately, you are very young. That's right. Hey, boy, do you want to know the secret to my youthful beauty? I don't want to. Shu Kang immediately shook his head and said. It's really boring. Don't worry, Chopper will cure that girl, but I'm curious about one thing, that is, she should have had a high fever. I don't know why, but she didn't. Did any of you take medicine? Asked. Yes, her high fever persisted, so she had to take some antipyretic analgesics for her, Shu Kang said. It's a wise choice, but the symptoms are not cured. It seems that among you people, there is no real doctor, right? Mr. Pirate. The witch could easily see through Shu Kang's identity. It seems that you have already guessed my identity, but why do you still want to save Nami? Shu Kang asked rhetorically. Hey, not all pirates deserve to die. You can hold this girl named Nami and come here to treat her, which is enough to show that you are a guy who cherishes your companions. The witch then asked. Don't you, yes, call me, people who don't know think I'm very old, just call me Dr. Gerva. 3 vertical lines appeared in front of Shu Kang's forehead. Isn't this witch 140 years old? But Shu Kang just thought about it in his heart, he didn't dare to say it. Immediately afterwards, Dr. Guliva and Shu Kang discussed Nami's condition. After a while, the sound of things shattering came from the room. Nami. Shu Kang and the witch went in together, only to see that Nami had woken up. At this time, there was a very shy little dwarf standing on the ground. Looking closely, he had a blue nose, a hat with an X, and 2 horns, very cute. He exposed most of his body to the outside, looking very nervous and scared. Chopper. Gerva looked at Chopper, then turned her attention to Nami. Dr. Guliva, Shu Kang, and seeing Nami, who had gotten much better, finally let go of their dangling hearts. As for Chopper, because he was very nervous and scared, he went into hiding for the time being. Thank you, Shu Kang. Thanks to you, my condition is much better. Nami immediately planned to leave, but was stopped by Dr. Guliva and Shu Kang. Little girl, don't be too anxious, otherwise, it's not that you are sick and died. Ji Leva's face instantly became very terrifying. Your partner cares about you, but don't leave now. Shu Kang also persuaded. Nami, wait for a while, your condition has not stabilized yet. By the way, what happened to the talking deer just now? Nami asked. Afterwards, Dr. Guliva told the two of Chopper's information, and Shu Kang then said, Dr. Guliva, we are very in a hurry, please see if you can go to sea with us, so that we can take care of Na. Beautiful. Yes, this is a good idea. Nami was also very worried about Vivi's kingdom. It's impossible. You said that you want me to be a pirate. It's a waste of my time in the mood for love. I'm not interested in the sea. Dr. Guliva said. Then I don't know, Chopper, are you willing to be our partner? Shu Kang asked. Although I'm very embarrassed, I want to dig your corners for treatment here, but we do need a doctor partner on board. Shu Kang looked very sincere. There is no such thing as digging. Chopper is not my subordinate, but if you really want to invite Chopper, just ask Chopper directly. I don't care here, Dr. Gurva said. If that's the case, then thank you in advance, and I will take the initiative to find Chopper. As soon as Shu Kang turned around, he found that Chopper was hiding in front of the door behind him. Chopper seemed to be very angry and ran out and said, I won't go with the pirates. Stupid. No way. I'm sorry Chopper, thank you for healing Nami. Shu Kang thanked him. Chopper, Nami also took the initiative to thank you. I know you healed me, thank you so much. I'm not happy. Stupid idiot Tilda. Chopper danced happily, but his mouth was not sincere. Are you willing to get on the boat with us? That way I don't need to continue to recuperate here. Nami smiled very kindly. No, I'm a reindeer. How can I stay with humans? Besides, aren't you afraid to see me? I'm obviously a reindeer. I can talk, I can walk on 2 feet, and I'm still Blue Nose. Chopper asked rhetorically. But Shu Kang knew that after Chopper ate human fruit, he was rejected by the deer at first, and then he wanted to become a human being but was treated as a monster by humans. This very tragic experience must have a shadow. No, it's normal, Chopper, the reindeer that ate human fruit is not only not scary, but also very cute and respectable. Shu Kang gave Nami a look, although the smart Nami didn't know Shu Kang want to do something, but also praised Chopper together. Chopper, as long as you are on our ship, our mates will feel at ease. We all need you. You are a respectable doctor. What Nami said was actually sincere. Chopper, who is not good at concealing his emotions, is naturally very happy. Don't you think I'm scary? Shu Kang asked back. Why do you ask that? Chopper felt a little strange instead. I'm also the one who ate the devil fruit, look at me. Shu Kang turned into a devil after speaking, and the terrifying coercion startled Gurva, Chopper, and Nami. I'm not afraid either. You are not afraid of me. I have no reason to be afraid of you. Although Chopper was afraid, he still did not choose to reject Shu Kang, which made Shu Kang see Chopper's caring, considerate and kind side. Since you are willing to look at me as an equal, I will treat you as an equal. Shu Kang then put away his demon wings and returned to his normal appearance. However, I have no interest in pirates, nor have I thought about finding any companions. At this time, Chopper rejected Shu Kang again. Chapter 54 Chopper's faith _______. Companion. This word has a very complicated meaning for Chopper. You don't know, there is only one person who made him open his heart. Dr. Gurva took Chopper out and shared Chopper's story with quack doctors. Shiruluk's story was told to Nami and Shu Kang. The general story is that Wapol expelled all the doctors, and there were only 2 doctors left in the entire magnetic drum kingdom, Gurva and Shiruluk. Shiruluk's medical skills can be said to be very poor. It got worse, but he stumbled into Chopper, who was hit by the bullet and fell into the snow. Chopper attacked Shiruluk, but Shiruluk was still willing to open everything up to Chopper. In the days that followed, Shiruluk lived with Chopper and gave it a name, Tony Chopper. But one day, Shiruluk drove Chopper away. It turned out that Shiruluk was about to die, and he had to do a big thing, that is, let the cherry blossoms bloom throughout the entire drum kingdom. In order to save Shirulik, Chopper worked hard to find the Amy mushroom that might be able to save Shirulik, and decided to become a doctor. After Shirulik entrusted Chopper to Gerva, he received a message from Wapol. Wapol claimed that all his doctors were sick and no one treated him. The innocent Shirulik came to the castle and walked in the trap. However, Shirulik had already looked down on life and death, and finally blew himself up. And Chopper decided to become a doctor who could cure even the diseases of the country. At this point in the story, Shu Kang and Nami had a thorough understanding of Chopper's past. At this time, Chopper suddenly broke in and said eagerly, "Gerwa doctor. Guliva doctor." Through the window, Shu Kang and the others saw a group of uninvited guests. "Gerva doctor. No good. Wapol is back," Chopper said. "Really?" Gu Leva was not panicked. "Huh, what is that? Where did the flag of the Drum Kingdom go?" Wapol was very puzzled when he saw that the flag on the top of the castle turned out to be a cherry blossom pirate flag. "I've already burned that kind of thing." Dr. Gerva and Chopper Shu Kang came out. "Oops, it's you, Dr. Kurha. You are the last survivor of the doctor's hunt," Wapol said, looking at Gerva. "This castle doesn't belong to you anymore. This is not where you bastards should come. Get out of this country. The Drum Kingdom has perished." Gerva faced Wapol and the others without any fear. "What did you say?" Wapol frowned. "Hey, you're still alive," Shu Kang said, and Wapol saw Shu Kang. "It's you." Wapol and his men were surprised. "That's right, it's me. I spared your life before, but I didn't expect you to return to Drum Island." Shu Kang calmly stared at Wapol in front of him. An enemy of Wapol's level made Shu Kang feel lazy. The feel of the shot. "Kill him for me. This time. I want to take revenge for the last time." Wapol didn't know whether it was courage or stupidity, but at this moment he rushed towards Shu Kang with his men. Vengeance. Dr. Gu Leva was also very puzzled. She didn't know when Shu Kang, who was in front of her, provoked Wapol. Shu Kang grinned Isho with a terrifying smile. "No matter how many times you rush over, you will fail miserably." After Shu Kang finished speaking, a huge black phantom appeared behind him. It was a semi-transparent and semi-solid demon arm. Boom! Shu Kang smashed his feet so hard, and the entire magnetic drum peak began to vibrate violently. "Ah!" Wapol cried out in pain, unable to control his trembling body, and finally collapsed on the spot. Shu Kang's demon wings spread out, and the next second, the whole person appeared in front of Wapol. "Get out!" Shu Kang pushed out with a palm. Wapol and his subordinates were directly hit in the front. Due to the great impact, Wapol and his arms immediately flew away like cannonballs. "Really, it's amazing." Jiyu Leiwaniang was also amazed by the sight. She could guess that Shu Kang was a fruit person, but she didn't expect Shu Kang's strength to be so terrifying. At this time, Chopper was also silent. Shu Kang's power made him very frightened. He is also a fruit person, but the gap seems to be a little big. Wapol and his subordinates disappeared in place. They thought that the three of them would disappear, but it didn't take long for these three annoying guys to climb up in front of Shu Kang again. "Huh, it's really strong perseverance. No matter how many times, the result will not change, and this time, I will kill you." Shu Kang's voice was still so flat, but it gave people a very terrifying feeling. Wapol's subordinates were very panicked. Even if they were as slow as them, they felt the terrifying killing intent on Shu Kang's body. "Presumptuous, Wapol is His Majesty the King. You shouldn't be so rude to His Majesty the King who dominates the people of this island," Wapol's subordinate said. "Mr. Wapol was only forced to become a pirate for some reason before, and now he is coming back to be a king again. Do you want to stop it?" said another of Wapol's subordinates. When Shu Kang saw this, Vivi shook his head and said, "A king who has abandoned his own country, is he still called a king? Besides, do you underestimate pirates too? If you become a pirate temporarily, it really doesn't look like a pirate would say it." Shu Kang then said, "You are not worthy of being a king, nor are you worthy of being a king. I don't deserve to be a pirate. I seem to understand a little bit of what Luffy means. Shu Kang wanted to persuade Luffy to put down the pirate flag before, but now it seems that his approach is indeed too slick. Although it looks smart, it is actually a kind of disregard for his beliefs. Never mind. I'm angry. Your name is Shu Kang, right? I'm going to chew you into mashed meat. Wapol also forcibly calmed down at this time, and continued, that is to say, the treasonous old woman and the Straw Hat group are all there. As long as get rid of these guys, and the whole country will have no more arrogant guys who dare to resist me. It is so. Today will be the day to celebrate the Drum Kingdom's restoration. Wapol said, falling into his own fantasies. Old woman, to live in this castle while we're not here. It's so daring. It even erected a strange flag. Wapol dared not speak to Shu Kang, and could only stare at Dr. Gulliver and yell. At this time, Dr. Gerva grinned and said, Isho, I take this castle as Shiruluk's tomb. I have no interest in this castle, but this reindeer has to hang the flag of Shiruluk there. At this time, Shu Kang saw the faith in Chopper's eyes. Chapter 55 _ The blood of 1,000 hand family please collect. Ask. Ellipsis. When Wapol in front of him heard what Chopper said, he naturally burst into laughter. Wow tilde ha ha ha. It's really interesting. How dare you hang that rotten doctor's flag on this king's sacred castle? Let me burn that broken flag. Wapol ordered. I won't let you into this castle. Chopper said. His entire body also changed from a reindeer state to a human form that can stand up. Lord Wapol, this guy is. By the way, it was back then. The idiot doctor's monster. Wapol's subordinates said, looking at the people in front of them, they naturally thought of the Chopper in the past. That flag is the doctor's belief. So I will never let you take him away. Absolutely, Chopper vowed. Shu Kang could see Chopper's feelings for Shiruluk, the quack doctor. Wapol laughed loudly and said, don't be merciful, let's go to the city. Kill the guy here. I think, you can't take a step in going, have you forgotten my existence? Shu Kang said lightly. Wapol and Wapol's subordinates looked at Shu Kang in front of them, still having some lingering fears. Leave it to us. Wapol's men mustered their courage, and one of them threw his explosive head directly at Dr. Gerva. However, before the explosive head got close to Gulliver, Shu Kang used his demonic hand to pinch it into powder. I said, don't take me seriously. Shu Kang frowned, thinking that Wapol and the others in front of him really didn't learn any lessons. Impossible. The electrostatic hairball didn't stick directly to you. What should I do now? Never mind. Just attack. Wapol's men picked up bows and arrows and shot a rocket directly at Shu Kang. It stands to reason that Shu Kang would be easily ignited by the rocket after being stuck by the hairball, but they never thought of it. Shu Kang was immune to their attacks. Wapol rushed out again, trying to chew and eat everyone in front of him. Shu Kang naturally would not let Wapol wish. Bastard, challenge my limit again and again. Shu Kang never wanted to do anything because he was afraid of changing the upcoming plot, but now, Shu Kang no longer wanted to endure it. The guy named Wapol was too far ahead. Since you like to eat, I'll let you eat enough. Shu Kang's expression became gloomy, and he released the power of the devil fruit, and the whole person seemed to have turned into a devil. Shu Kang's ability to directly transform into the devil itself is called animalization of the devil fruit. This move is similar to Zone's ability, which simply increases his full ability. The horns on Shu Kang's head also grew out, and huge wings were spread out behind him, and his eyes unconsciously turned into 3 goose jade riding round eyes. Because Shu Kang has the bloodline of the Uzumaki and Uchiha clans, his consumption is also extremely low by using the shaker. What kind of monster is this? Wapol was shocked at this time. He knew that Shu Kang was a fruit person, but he didn't expect that Shu Kang turned out to be such a terrifying fruit person. I don't know how many times stronger my Tuntun fruit is. Do you have anything else to say? Shu Kang asked, looking at Wapol in front of him. Humph, I'm not going to be scared. Wapol was very clueless, but in order to take back his castle and his own country, he finally rushed up. Shu Kang saw Wapol rushing up without a brain, and also grinned isho, agreeing with him. Shu Kang took a step forward, and his whole body disappeared instantly, as if he had used the shave in Marine Rokushiki. In fact, Shu Kang's ultra-high-speed movement made it seem like a teleportation to anyone. When Wapol and the others saw Shu Kang had already appeared beside them and waved his fists to attack him. Them. What? This is impossible. What a fast speed. Wapol and his subordinates were hit by Shu Kang's attack before they had time to be surprised. Whoosh. The three of them were hit by Shu Kang's extreme strength, and the three bodies immediately disappeared in place, as if they had never appeared before. This is the end. Whether it was Gulewa or Chopper, they were all stunned at this time. They already knew how powerful Shu Kang was, but they still didn't expect Shu Kang to be so powerful. Killing Wapol in one blow was something they never dared to think about before, but now, it really happened in front of their eyes. At this time, Luffy, Usopp, Sanji and other partners also climbed up from the bottom of the mountain. Naturally, Dalton and the villagers also came together. When they learned that Shu Kang had easily killed Wapol and others. When Luffy, Usopp and others saw Chopper, they were naturally very interested. After listening to Chopper's story, they naturally couldn't restrain their enthusiasm for inviting Chopper. Nami's condition also needs a doctor to be responsible for it. Everyone unanimously decided to invite Chopper to board the ship. Everyone began to persuade hard, and finally, with the help of the Straw Hats, everyone let the cherry blossoms float on the magnetic drum island. In the end, like the original plot, Chopper agreed to go to sea. After saying goodbye to Dalton and Dr. Gerva, Shu Kang led Nami, Chopper and the others and the Straw Hats back to Going Merry. At the beginning, Chopper was still a little uncomfortable, but Luffy, Usopp and other 10 Atmosphere Masters, it only took a short time for Chopper to integrate into this big family. The members of the Straw Hats finally have one more member. Going Merry started sailing on the sea again, heading in the direction of Alabasta, for an unknown time. And Shu Kang also successfully signed in again. Ding ding ding. Congrats to the host. Congratulations on leaving the magnetic drum island and signing in successfully. This time, you have obtained the bloodline of the Chinsho clan. Shu Kang was surprised by the sound of the system. The blood of the Chinsho family. This is not weaker than the blood of Uchiha. Am I going to escape? Shu Kang asked. Now that you have the bloodline of the Chinsho clan, you will naturally have the opportunity to awaken Mudun in the future, but your current strength is still a little weak, and you must go through constant progress and training before you can awaken the powerful Mudun. The system said. So that's the case, system. I remember that after awakening Sharanyan and Mudun, there is a chance to awaken Rinnegan, is that so? Shu Kang asked. Yes, host. Your writing wheel must at least reach the eternal kaleidoscope level, and you must at least master Mudun, which is to develop 2 bloodlines, so that it is possible to open the Rinnegan. The system answered very carefully, and Shu Kang was secretly happy. Merry sailed normally on the sea, and Shu Kang began to develop ninjutsu and study his own bloodline of the 1,000 Hands. Chapter 56 Mr. Tuvan Clay. For silver. Shu Kang found that he originally had the bloodline of the Vortex clan, but after the system rewarded him with the bloodline of the Chinsho clan this time, his chakra had greatly improved. The Vortex clan was originally a distant relative of the 1,000 Hand clan, and with Uchiha, the 3 bloodlines were mixed together, and Shu Kang's chakra naturally increased to the level of a tailed beast. Of course, Shu Kang is refining and condensing chakra every day, so that although his chakra will be weakened, it will become purer and easier to use ninjutsu. The sea finally became blue and the weather became better. It was obvious that everyone should have left the range of Winter Island. Shu Kang continued to improve himself, and his ability in ninjutsu. In general, Shu Kang now has 3 ways of fighting. The first one is called Janao. Shu Kang used his Zanpakuto Shira as a way of fighting. The second way can be understood as the way of fighting in the pirate world, which is the way to use the devil fruit to fight. The third way is the Naruto World's fighting method, which uses various blood-based limits and ninjutsu to fight. At present, Shu Kang's most powerful is the swordsman's fighting style, the next is the devil fruit ability, and finally the ninjutsu. In other words, although Shu Kang has the ability to use ninjutsu to fight, he has never dared to use it. The reason is because Shu Kang does not have any more practical ninjutsu. But now, Shu Kang has mastered the common sense of ninjutsu that he received from the sign-in before, and now he can learn ninjutsu by himself. Shu Kang used the magic bag to get water polo, rubber ball and other items. Obviously, Shu Kang began to practice the spiral pills hard. Because of the chakra control after practicing for a long time, Shu Kang easily controlled the chakra and burst the water polo in his hand. Afterwards, Shu Kang continued to practice popping the rubber ball. A rubber ball is not as simple as a water polo, but Shu Kang has both chakra volume and chakra control. After failing a few times, he succeeded directly. In the end, Shu Kang successfully condensed a blue chakra ball. Although it did not maintain a large size at first, it still made Shu Kang very happy. If Jiraiya and Shadaime Hokage saw this scene, they would definitely commit suicide in shame. It only took Shu Kang an afternoon to master the most basic spiral pill. The last step is to improve his chakra and make the spiral pill bigger. The bigger the spiral pill became, the higher the requirements for chakra control. After trying for a few days, Shu Kang was finally able to send out the spiral pill normally. Because Shu Kang has super chakra and super chakra control ability, he can do instant spiral pills. Even so, Shu Kang continued to practice the spiral pill, trying to make the next breakthrough. On this day, the companions on the ship began to chat. "Are we sailing in the right direction?" asked Princess Vivi. "Yeah, we're going in the right direction, and we should be arriving at Alabasta soon," Nami said, looking at the record needle. "I'll be back soon," Princess Vivi said, thinking of her father. Luffy and Usopp were fishing on the boat, and they ended up catching someone. This person looked very strange, wearing a swan suit all over his body, and his makeup was a bit neither male nor female. Everyone else was taken aback, but Shu Kang recognized this person at a glance. "Mr. 2, Bentham." "Yeah, I'm so sorry," Bentham said. "I was actually rescued by pirates I had never met before. I will never forget your kindness and virtue. Can you bring me a bowl of hot soup?" Bentham asked. Then everyone said that we didn't have anything to fish. "Can't you swim?" Luffy asked. "Yeah, because I ate the devil fruit," Bentham said very directly. "What kind of fruit?" Usopp asked with great interest. "Well," Bentham stood up slowly and said, "since it's useless to be in a hurry before picking up my ship, I'll show you a sideshow. This is my ability." Bentham then slapped Luffy into the air, and everyone immediately raised their vigilance and prepared to shoot. At this point, Bentham's face changed to Luffy's, and even his voice changed. "Ah, it's me." The companions on the boat looked at Bentham, who was exactly the same as Luffy, and were a little frightened. Shu Kang sneered at this ability. He learned the transformation technique in Hokage, and he could become someone else at any time. "Scared? As long as you hit your face with your left hand, it will return to its original shape." After Bentham finished speaking, he slapped himself in the face and regained his original appearance. "This is what I eat, the ability to imitate the fruit tilde." Bentham seemed a little smug. "Voice and physique will become the same. It's amazing," everyone exclaimed again. Immediately after, Bentham became Usopp, Zoro, Chopper. "If you touch your face with your right hand, it will become like this. No matter who you are, you can imitate it." Bentham then changed his face constantly at the request of his shipmate. Of course, there was one appearance, which made Vivi very surprised and happy. Nervous. Bentham quickly got along with everyone. If it weren't for the fact that they were in two camps, Shu Kang thought this guy was a good guy. But after a while, Bentham saw a boat coming not far away. Obviously, it was Bentham's own boat, and after a very painful goodbye, Bentham and the others waved goodbye. Let's go, little ones, Bentham said. Okay, Mr. 2. Then the ship left. At this time, everyone noticed the identity of this person. What? This is Mr. 2. This guy is Mr. Point 2 Bentham, Vivi said. Haven't you met him? Luffy asked. Yeah, I haven't seen Mr. Point 3 and Mr. 1 and his partner, and I don't know their abilities. Vivi slumped on the deck weakly and said. I've heard rumors about him. Mr. Point 2 is a tall ballerina. He uses a female voice and likes to wear a swan jacket with the word, Benmu, written on him. Everyone saw that something was wrong with Vivi and asked, what's wrong with you? Vivi. Just now, in the memory of the face he performed, there was my father's face. The face of Neferutali Cobra, the king of Alabasta. Vivi said with some pain. If he turned into a king, he would definitely do a lot of bad things, right? Zoro guessed. Yes, in this way, the king's army and the reactionary army can be incited to fight together. Shu Kang said very clearly. You actually let such a tricky guy escape. Usopp also said. Chapter 57 Alabasta ________. As that person turned out to be the enemy. Chopper also responded. Indeed, if he becomes our enemy, it will be very difficult. Nami echoed. If he finds out that we are the enemy, he will use the memory just now to pretend to be one of us, so, we will become unable to trust our companions. Quote. However, just now Sanji and I were not imitated. Shu Kang said. Just now, Shu Kang deliberately blocked his face, so he was not remembered by Mr. Point 2 Bentham. At this moment, the sea suddenly became unstable, and a very huge strange cat emerged from the sea. Luffy and Zoro were all drooling because they hadn't eaten food for a long time, ready to deal with the huge strange cat in front of them. At this time, Shu Kang immediately said, No, this thing is called a sea cat, we can't eat it. Why? We've run out of food. Luffy and the others complained in frustration. Because, this is a sacred creature of our Alabasta. Vivi then came out to explain, and by the way, looked at Shu Kang with very grateful eyes. That's it. Chopper was intrigued by the unknown. Luffy saw that the food he had gone away, so he burst into tears and cried. Don't worry, there should be food soon. Vivi looked at Luffy and comforted. I really got you guys. Shu Kang had no choice but to put his hand into the magical bag again, and took out a few large pieces of bread from it. Wow, it's for eating. After Luffy saw the bread in Shu Kang's hand, his whole body re-entered a state of excitement. He immediately rushed over and started eating the bread. Chopper asked curiously, what is this thing? How can such a small bag hide such a huge piece of bread? This is my ability, but the things I can take out of this bag are limited, and it's not enough for all of us to eat. Shu Kang's stomach also growled a little. Although he is very strong, if there is nothing more, if there is food, he will starve to death. Vivi, the wind direction and climate seem to have stabilized. Nami looked around and said to Vivi. Yeah, we have entered the climate area of Alabasta. The presence of sea cats can also prove this. Vivi is still relatively happy. After all, if they reach Alabasta soon, they will be able to save their kingdom. The latter things are also one of the evidences that are close to Alabasta. Zoro said suddenly. Huh, the Straw Hat group naturally turned their heads when they heard Zoro's words. On the originally very quiet sea, there were actually many more ships. When did so many ships appear? Luffy said in surprise. The flag and the boat have the logo of the Baroque Works Club. It seems that our whereabouts have been detected by them. Shu Kang squinted his eyes and said, faintly aware of something in his heart. Company employees, have you started to gather? Those people are estimated to be hundreds of millions of elders, the subordinates of senior agents. Vivi used to be an undercover agent, so naturally he could see the details of these people at a glance. In other words, there will be at least 200 enemies, and they are still the elite 200 of Baroque Works. They are completely different from those bounty hunters in Whiskey Mountain. Vivi said very seriously, she knew the strength of these people. Don't worry, these people will definitely not be our opponents. Shu Kang was very confident, and now, no one who can defeat him has appeared. Yeah, these are just pawns, don't worry. Zoro knew Shu Kang's strength, and he was also very confident, not afraid at all, unlike Usopp, who was ready to use artillery to attack these enemies. Yeah, if we get the real target wrong, we're screwed, Sanji said. There are not many of us, Sanji said. Then everyone took out their sleeves and tied them to their left wrists. The opponent this time is too mysterious, and this has to be wrapped up, Zoro said. I see. As long as you confirm this, you won't doubt your comrades. Nami also thought this was a good idea. Everyone then wrapped the sleeves around their wrists. Then what should I do? Chopper looked at Shu Kang and asked. Shu Kang thought for a while and said, just do what you can as a partner. I see. Chopper nodded, very well behaved. At this time, Luffy shouted, see the island. Shu Kang immediately turned his head and looked in the direction Mary was driving. Sure enough, a large island with golden deserts appeared in front of him. And below those deserts, there seems to be a town. We've reached Alabasta. Just stop at the town in front of us called La Rahana. We must hide the boat at once, said Princess Vivi. Very good. Anyway, no matter what happens from now on, this one on the left arm is the sign of the companion. After Luffy finished speaking, everyone put their left hands together. Okay, let's go, Luffy said excitedly. Let's go. Shu Kang also nodded. It's finally here, don't worry so much. But it's useless for me to say that, right? Do you have a way to stop the rebellion? Nami looked at Vivi and comforted her, then asked. Vivi then said, there is a way, but there is no guarantee that it will succeed. It will be successful. Unlike Luffy, Shu Kang was starving and had no energy, but continued to cheer for Vivi. Although it's inevitable to say it now, thank you. Vivi looked at Shu Kang very sincerely and expressed her gratitude. When Alabasta is completely at peace, thank me. Shu Kang smiled and said nothing, very mysterious. Soon, Mary had arrived at the Alabasta kingdom, near the small town of Rohara. After everyone put the boat away, Nami began to say, listen, everyone, this time, please don't act according to your instincts. Yes, Miss Nami, Sanji responded. The guy who should listen to this sentence is gone. Zoro said very speechlessly. It's time to eat. Luffy was gone in an instant. Luffy, who had disappeared, but there was nothing he could do. As another captain, Shu Kang had no choice but to say, don't worry, you will meet him sooner or later, and then you can act according to the circumstances. Oh, that's the only way. Nami nodded speechlessly. Hey look, what is that? Everyone looked back and saw a ship with Mr. Point 3 written on it. Isn't that guy dead yet? Nami was also very surprised. Shu Kang had already knocked him out in memory. Chapter 58 _ My name is Ace. The boat seems to be powered by melting fruit, Vivi said. This is trouble, he already recognizes us, Zoro said. It's okay, I have a good way. Usopp then told everyone his own way. Although Shu Kang personally felt that this was very unnecessary, he finally agreed. And Chopper were outside, and the others hid under a cloth and walked in covertly, which could reduce the chance of exposure. Sure enough, no one noticed the crowd, and everyone was able to come to an abandoned house. No one seems to notice us, Usopp said. If you don't notice it, it's odd. Vivi was satisfied. Vivi, if you're here, you can hide your eyes for now, Sanji said. But at this time, Vivi seemed a little stunned. What's wrong with you? Sanji asked. It's alright, I'm sorry, I just feel relieved, because at least there seems to be nothing on the street, although it's not reassuring, but maybe it's still too late. Vivi said. Yeah, it looks like this town is very peaceful. Nami also agreed. Hey, Vivi, you just said there was a way to stop the rebellion, what are you going to do next? What should we do? If there's still time, it's better to act early, Zoro asked. Seeing this, Shu Kang immediately said. That's right, don't forget our strength. Vivi shook his head slightly and said, although that's true, we just agreed, just send me to Alabasta. It's really speechless, you're still talking like that. Even Nami stabbed Vivi's head with a small fist at this time. We've all come here together, how can we ignore your affairs now? Yeah, Vivi, don't say such foreign words. Usopp also said. Also, I think Captain Shu Kang and I both have a strong interest in Shichibukai. Zoro is also Vivi Isho. Your words are redundant. Nami looked at Zoro speechlessly. Anyway, don't think about it. Nami said, looking at Vivi. Anyway, everyone other than me is being hunted down, that's all. Sanji didn't seem to be in a hurry. Besides, if your country perishes, won't the reward for sending you back will be gone? Nami said darkly. Seeing everyone's quarrel, Vivi was very moved, and finally said the word, thank you, from the bottom of his heart. Immediately afterwards, Vivi began to speak out about his plan. To the northwest of the city, there is an oasis called Juba, where the rebel army is based. I want to go there first to stop the riot. However, to go to Juba, you have to cross the desert. For this, food and water are needed, and it must be collected here. If Mr. Point 3 is also in this city, Vivi seems to be worried. Don't worry about this, because my appearance is not exposed. Sanji said. Yeah, because Sanji has basically never met them. So does Chopper. That's great, because there's a lot to buy, it's up to you, Sanji said to Chopper. Got it. Chopper nodded obediently. In order not to expose everyone gave Sanji and Chopper a list of the items they needed, while Shu Kang stayed where he was and guarded everyone. As for Luffy, he didn't know where he went. I said Vivi, is Yuba really the headquarters of the rebel army? Shu Kang looked at Vivi and asked. Yes, Juba has been the headquarters of the rebel army since I left Alabasta. Vivi said with great certainty. In this case, let's go to Yuba first. Although Shu Kang knew that Yuba had been swallowed by the desert, he still decided to follow Vivi's original plan. After all, there was not much loss. Time passed quickly, and after a while, Sanji and Chopper could already be seen. And Chopper brought back a lot of food and water. Shu Kang and his friends were already hungry and thirsty, so they naturally ate and drank. Bought dancing girl clothes for Nami and Vivi. Although it is very beautiful, but not sunscreen, Sanji finally honestly gave the two girls normal desert clothes. Okay, everything we should prepare is ready, and then we are ready to set off, cross the desert, and head to Juba. Shu Kang said. Vivi then said, I want to save my country, so I want to ask you again, everyone, please help me. Haha, of course, you finally said it. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's go going together. Okay, the partners raised their left hands, full of fighting spirit. Don't you think there is one person missing? Usopp said embarrassedly. Luffy, everyone couldn't help but complain. Well, we already have local clothes, and we are not afraid of being discovered by the enemy. Keep a low profile and search for Luffy's traces. Shu Kang, as another captain, had to issue this very reasonable order. Everyone started a journey to search for Luffy in the market, but they said they were looking for Luffy, but in fact they were just wandering around, but Shu Kang knew that Luffy was not in the market at all. However, although Shu Kang and Zoro did not find Luffy, they saw an unexpected character. That guy, Shu Kang, do you know? Zoro asked Shu Kang next to him. You know that sign too. It seems that he is also looking for Luffy. Shu Kang recognized the other's identity at a glance. It seems that I am not mistaken. Why is this guy looking for Luffy? Is he going to kill him? Zoro asked curiously. The captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, Fire Fist Ace, shouldn't kill his own brother, right? Haha. Shu Kang then walked over without hesitation and patted the shoulder of the person in front of him. The upper body of the person in front of him and the muscles of the whole body look very well proportioned. He is carrying a backpack, a rosary on his neck, and an orange hat on his head. Of course, the most conspicuous is the white cross on his back. Mustache logo made. Brother, did you hear that you're looking for Luffy? Shu Kang placed his hand on Ace's shoulder smoothly. Ace turned his head and asked, "Oh, you seem to know him, don't you?" Shu Kang smiled and said, "You worry-free younger brother, when you first arrived in Alabasta, you clamored for something to eat, and then disappeared in a hurry. How can you be a captain?" Shu Kang's words conveyed a lot of information. After hearing that, Ace in front of him also grinned isho and turned around. It turned out to be Luffy's partner. "I'm sorry, my brother caused trouble for everyone. My name is Ace." Brother. All the Straw Hats except Shu Kang were stunned. For Ace, cast a vote. Chapter 59_Ace Luffy Smoker, please collect. Ask. Ace is an easygoing person who likes to make friends and is a bit like Luffy in character. Shu Kang directly led his friends and Ace to a nearby restaurant. Since he knew Ace's identity, he had to invite Ace to have a good meal. On the way to the restaurant, Shu Kang also saw an old friend. Yes, Marine, Tashigi, seen on Logatown. Shu Kang obviously saw that after Zoro saw this woman, the whole state was a little wrong. Smoker who looked very hockey with 2 cigars in his mouth. At this moment, Smoker grabbed a pirate in one hand and threw it on the ground. It was some little pirates who dared to pretend to be domineering in front of me, so I solved it easily. Captain, even if you come to such a far country, your hatred of pirates is still firm. Tashigi said. If you have time to talk nonsense, you might as well hand these guys over to the king's army in this country. Smoker then said. So far, it seems that there is no news that Luffy the Straw Hat and the demon Shu Kang have landed in this country, but don't let your guard down, they're bound to show up in this country, Smoker said. As Shu Kang walked towards the restaurant, he couldn't help but complain in his heart, what the hell is the devil Shu Kang? Those Marines, do you know each other? Ace asked as he walked. Yeah, it's a hassle, the Marine captain from Logatown has been chasing us. Shu Kang didn't care much, just quickened his pace and wanted to arrive at the hotel earlier. Could this guy have been chasing us all the way from Logatown? Is he too persistent? Nami was also a little speechless. It's just this time. Where the hell did that guy Luffy go? Zoro was also a little powerless to complain. When he came to the restaurant, Shu Kang ignored Bailey and let Ace start eating. Ace then had a great time chatting with the Straw Hats and his party. Ace was still quite interested in Luffy's adventure. It stands to reason that normal people will become more and more excited by talking while eating. However, a shocking scene happened. Ace fell asleep while eating. Ace and Luffy are really similar. As expected of brothers, Shu Kang sat silently beside him. But after a while, Ace actually woke up again and started chatting and eating again. And just when Ace, Shu Kang and others were going to continue chatting, drinking and eating meat, an uninvited guest came here. Shu Kang wore a demon suit, dressed like the local residents, and his companions also changed their clothes without being recognized. You are so brave. How dare you openly eat in front of the public? The second team captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, Portgas D. Ace. The person who spoke loudly was naturally Smoker. The people around were shocked when they heard the Whitebeard Pirates. What? That idiot is actually a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. That's right. I've seen that sign behind him. That's the logo of the Whitebeard Pirates. Why is he here? What exactly is Shu Kang's Whitebeard Pirates? Nami asked Shu Kang quietly, and her friends looked at Shu Kang with great curiosity. Shu Kang had no choice but to popularize. The Great Channel is divided into the first half and the second half. The 3 major forces in the second half are the Marine Headquarters, the Shichibukai under the King, and the 4 Emperors. The 4 Emperors, as the name suggests, are the Sea Emperors who rule the world. One of them is the Whitebeard Pirates. Whitebeard is regarded as the strongest man in the world, and Ace is the captain of the second team of the Whitebeard Pirates. The 4 Emperor's pirates are so powerful that they can fight head-to-head with the Marine headquarters, which shows the strength of the 4 Emperors. Shu Kang made a brief introduction to science, and all the partners knew about the Whitebeard pirates and the meaning of the man in front of him. The famous pirate, what did he come to this country for? Asked Smoker. I'm looking for someone, my brother. Ace grinned Isho, looking at Smoker. At this moment, the atmosphere is very tense. Pirates and Marine have always been incompatible existences, and a battle is inevitable. Are we going to do something? Zoro asked. Ace is on our side, right? At least help, Usopp said. Don't worry, Ace is very strong. Even Crocodile is not Ace's opponent. Shu Kang did not help Ace. Ace looked at Smoker and asked, what should I do? Obviously caught, Smoker said. I refuse, I can't do that. Yeah, I'm looking for other pirates now. To be honest, I'm not interested in your head. Smoker said. Then just let me go. Ace said with a smile. This can't be done, I'm Marine, and as long as you're a pirate, it's absolutely not possible. Smoker has activated his smoke fruit ability, and one hand has been enveloped in smoke. It's a boring reason, so let's have fun. Ace was in high spirits, and at this moment, a familiar voice suddenly rang. Rubber rocket. Immediately afterwards, an unknown object rushed out of the door and smashed heavily on Smoker's body. Dodge. Shu Kang spread his wings and led his partners to avoid Luffy's indiscriminate attack. However, Smoker's body unfortunately spread to Ace. Oh, it's a restaurant. I can eat now. Luffy was very happy, but he was very slow to react to what just happened. Uncle, eat and eat, Luffy said eagerly. You're here too. Luffy quickly noticed the companions. Hey, Luffy. The guys looked at Luffy and didn't know what to say. At this time, Luffy was eating with a big mouthful, and Shu Kang also had a drop of sweat on his forehead. How weird is this guy? Ace and Smoker then returned to the restaurant, where they saw Luffy at about the same time. Straw Hat Boy. Smoker rushed over immediately after seeing Luffy, looked at Luffy and said, you really make me look good. Straw Hat Boy, you really came to Alabasta, and the devil Shu Kang must have come too. However, at this time, Luffy only cared about eating and ignored Smoker at all, and then Luffy remembered. That, Shu Kang is here. Luffy pointed at Shu Kang, and then quickly ran to the door. Shu Kang, so you've been hiding next to me. Smoker finally noticed Shu Kang. Luffy, you idiot. Shu Kang was speechless. Straw Hat Boy, don't run. Although Smoker saw Shu Kang, he decided to chase after Luffy first, because he was afraid that Luffy would run away, and he didn't think he was sure of defeating Shu Kang. Hey, Luffy is me, Ace also shouted, running out of the hotel. Blink of an eye, Luffy Ace Smoker ran out, but no one paid any attention to Shu Kang and others. Chapter 60_Ace's Aftermath. By the way, is he really Luffy's brother? Nami asked. Yes, Shu Kang nodded. But why is he on the Great Route? Although Zoro knew that Ace was the captain of the Whitebeard pirates, he still didn't know why he was here. Ace left East Blue 3 years earlier than Luffy, and his goal is also One Piece. After Shu Kang finished speaking, everyone understood what Shu Kang said. Can you settle the account? The boss saw that everyone had run away, and looked at Shu Kang. Although Shu Kang was very helpless, he had no choice but to settle the accounts of Luffy, Ace and the others. Go after them. After Shu Kang finished speaking, his friends nodded and left the hotel together. What followed was a chase. Smoker was chasing Luffy, Ace was chasing Smoker, and Shu Kang and his friends were chasing Ace. Tashigi, urgently summon Marine. Thoroughly investigate the entire city. Find out where the Straw Hats are. The Straw Hat Kid and the demon Shu Kang have already appeared. Smoker ordered while chasing after Luffy. Yes, Tashigi responded, and immediately prepared to go to deliver the order. Everything that happened in front of us was naturally seen by many people, and everyone couldn't help but watch the excitement. It's a dispute between capable people. It's amazing. White Snake, Smoker asked, chasing after Luffy. Straw Hat, what's the purpose of coming to this country? I'm just here to take down a guy named Crocodile. Luffy explained as he ran. What? Crocodile? What have you got to do with Crocodile? Before Smoker could ask anything, Luffy had fallen off the roof. At this moment, the streets were already chaotic, and a large number of Marines poured in. When Marine saw the Straw Hats and his party, he immediately went crazy and started to hunt. What should I do now? Vivi asked eagerly. There's no way. We'll have to go back to the boat, Nami said. And Smoker has caught up with Luffy. White Fist. A fist with white smoke was about to hit Luffy when another voice rang out. Yang Yan. A huge flame burst out, and the flame and smoke collided and cancelled each other out. Everyone couldn't help but look here. Is that you? Smoker asked, only to hear Ace say handsomely, stop it. Although you are smoke, but I am fire, if you rely on my ability, you can't tell who wins or loses. Ace. It's Ace. You ate a devil fruit. Luffy then realized that the person who helped him was his brother Ace. This guy's reaction is really slow. Shu Kang shook his head. Yeah, I ate the burnt fruit. Ace said. Is it another Logia? Shu Kang said. At this time, a Marine said, Smoker Captain, already surrounded. Seeing that the situation was urgent, Ace said, it seems that this is not a good time to catch up with the old days. You should escape first. This group of people will be dragged by me. I will go back to chase you. Hurry up. Seeing this, Shu Kang said, everyone, let's go. Leave it to Ace. No problem. Everyone then quickly ran in the direction of Mary. Ace blocked Smoker and many Marines. Anyway, we'll return to the ship immediately after we hand it over to Ace, Shu Kang said. However, I really didn't expect to see Ace here. Luffy was happy. Soon, the Straw Hats had come to Going Merry, and after loading the previously purchased food, water and necessities on the boat, everyone was ready to leave this place of right and wrong as quickly as possible. We finally got to an island. Are we sailing again now? Chopper asked, looking at Vivi. Yeah, the reason why I came to this city is just to purchase the necessary supplies, and then I have to go upstream and go to the inland of Alabasta. Vivi replied. Next, the city to go is, the Green City, Elmar. Princess Vivi said. Elmar. Everyone broke down and set sail, ready to set sail, only to find that one person was missing. Where's Luffy? This guy must have lost it again. Shu Kang was no longer able to complain, and Luffy was too unreliable. But after thinking about it, Ace would meet with Luffy, so Shu Kang wasn't so worried. Let's go straight. Ace and Luffy should have a turn. When that time comes, they will naturally have a way to catch up. After Shu Kang finished speaking, everyone also believed in Shu Kang's judgment and finally set off. Is this really good? We're setting sail without waiting for Luffy? Asked the kind Chopper rhetorically. The port will soon be surrounded by Marine's men, and we'll have to hide the ship somewhere, Nami said. There should be a relatively hidden bay ahead, Vivi said. Let's go to Luffy when the limelight is over. Sanji said the same. Really, it's all because of that guy that we keep making trouble like this. Usopp said with disgust. What an unreliable captain. Shu Kang is completely different. Zoro complained about Luffy and praised Shu Kang. Shu Kang said with a smile, I actually think that an unreliable captain is interesting. Just a little while later. Found it. It's Luffy. Found Luffy. Nami took the binoculars and apparently saw Luffy by the sea. That's right, that idiot. Sanji groaned. Immediately afterwards, Luffy stretched his hand extremely long, grabbed onto the boat, and then directly used the elasticity of the rubber to send his body to the boat. Accidentally injured, Chopper and Sanji. You bastard, don't you know how to reflect? Sanji grabbed Luffy, having never seen such a captain before. Hey, Luffy, do you have a little bit of self-awareness as a captain too? Nami also said. In the future, be a little more reliable, you still have a partner. Shu Kang also educated Luffy. I'm sorry. By the way, where's Ace? Luffy then started to brag, but he didn't expect Ace to appear on Mary in an instant. I said, who do you think you can beat? Ace asked very handsomely. Seeing Ace, Luffy excitedly introduced. Ace, these are the partners I mentioned just now. This is Shu Kang, another captain on the ship. It's amazing that there is only a captain among these few partners. My brother is taken care of by you. Ace said. The same partner naturally humbly said, nothing. This kid is very uneducated, and you think it's very difficult, don't you? The partners said again with great respect, nothing. Ace also said politely, please take care of me. It was only then that everyone realized that although they were brothers, Ace was unusually polite and very different from Luffy.